Now Pedersen to blast all that hit. Diving save hard as he flashes across.
Okay.
Now Pedersen to blast all that hit. Diving save hard as he flashes across. Briere sets up Carl, side of the net, deflected, score!
Yeah. Okay, for some reason we're having technical difficulties with the intro video, but it doesn't matter. So, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Flyer Up podcast. This is going to be our trade deadline special. So, like I said, the technical difficulties with our intro video, but that doesn't matter. I'm your host, Amedeo and Grassia, along with my partner, Chris Maher. We're going to be here for a while. Going to be a long time, going through the 10 stages of the trade deadline. And so we're like, an hour away from the deadline happening, and then like an hour away from Chuck Fletcher's press conference, just recapping everything. So, yeah, there's been a lot of moves over throughout the NHL in this trade deadline process. Flyers haven't done anything. And I know a lot of Flyers fan base right now is irate because right now there just hasn't been anything happening with the Philadelphia Flyers. And Scott Lawton, there's rumors that who knows, it might go down to the wire if he's going to get traded, if he's going to get re-signed. So, Chris, let's bring your thoughts into this process. Like, what do you think about the entire thing, and what your thoughts have been about the trade deadline in general?
All right. My thoughts are kind of all over the place at this point. I don't necessarily know if the Flyers are going to make a move. I didn't think the Flyers were going to make a move. I kind of thought from kind of the way that March went, I was like, I still don't think they're going to make a move. Like, I know everybody talked about that big trade. I don't see that happening until the summer. I said that before. I didn't think the Flyers were going to make a move on deadline day. I still don't right now. If they do, they will probably re-sign Lawton, but that's probably it. That might actually already be done. They just haven't announced it yet. But, honestly, I kind of feel like, I think it makes sense for the Flyers to not be doing anything right now. I don't think they really can. I mean, regardless of what anybody says, they're still in the playoff race mathematically, and that's all that matters. And if they're, still playing games that matter, which obviously pretty much all of them do at this point. And, yesterday's loss was the absolute buzzkill of probably the worst season we could have expected. But, Boston getting their tires pumped last night, that kind of helped soothe somewhat of the pain because it didn't necessarily kill them that much, but it still hurt. So, it is what it is. And I think as of right now, I think the team's in a weird spot, and I don't necessarily think it was Fletcher's fault. I don't think anyone or him expected the team to be this bad. And I don't think anyone was expecting them to be in a spot like this to where it's like, what are they supposed to be doing right now? I really don't know. Listen, I think it's tough to kind of put all of this on Fletcher. As much as anybody wants to, this and that. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and blame management and coaching. Everybody knows how many coaches they've been through, and all the GMs and everything like that, and all that stuff. I think a lot of this is on the players. I think there's, majority of the reason that the team's been like this is because of guys and the way that they've played, and they just have not been good as a group. And, Fletcher has come out and said that they don't have the right mix of guys, and I think he's trying to find that. I just think it's so damn hard to do it. And people are kind of making it like he's not doing anything because he doesn't know what to do. I think I think he doesn't. It's just that hard. And I think, I think an example of that is how many 3-team trades have there been already? Like 3 or 4, maybe 5.
There've been a couple.
Yeah. I would assume that's probably because of the cap. Other teams have to kind of.
You got the whole Savard trade with Tampa Bay, and you got Columbus and Detroit retaining salary on Savard, so Tampa Bay could take them. Yeah.
Today with Jan Mark, there was one. What was one of the other ones? I can't remember. But a lot of them, even if they weren't 3-team, there were a lot of them that are 50% retained. The Taylor Hall trade, right?
Yeah.
It's 50% retained. That's why Buffalo didn't have to give up their first, because they ate $4 million. You know what I mean? So that's probably why they didn't give up a first round pick, because they ate $4 million off of it. That's probably why Boston settled with a second there. So, listen, I don't know what the Flyers are going to do. I wouldn't mind if they add some picks. I don't think they're in the mood to take on Reynolds right now because, again, they're still in the playoff race. If they were like mathematically out, I think this would be a whole different ballgame. But I don't know. So
I think that's where kind of me and you stand on a little bit two opposite sides of the string. I know the logical sense of it is, yes, technically they're still mathematically in it. There's still this and this and that. In my opinion, I just find that completely irrelevant, just the way the team has played this entire season, because you get that win on Saturday against Boston. Okay, maybe they could. We've been saying that all year. When they get that one win, maybe it can turn into something. But then they show up on Sunday and get absolutely embarrassed in the final minutes of the game against Buffalo again.
Listen, I don't blame you for thinking that way. Deep down, I feel the same way. But mathematically, they are still. I mean, you can't. You know what I mean? Like they are still in the playoff race mathematically.
I can't think, because I find that completely irrelevant.
And listen, I don't blame you, but I think that's the only thing that really matters to Fletcher is that they are still in the playoff race, and I don't think they seriously can do anything to help them. It's not like they're not guaranteed a spot, and they're not guaranteed out yet. So I don't know what they can do.
Because I'm not like demanding you do all the offseason stuff they need to do. I'm not demanding that you do it right now. Just like showcase that you're going to make a move. Like if that was going to trade Lawton, get a couple of pieces back here. Maybe those are draft picks to where you can utilize those in the offseason into helping your team out. Or I'm also fine with re-signing Lawton. It also depends on the cap that he gets. But I saw one of the comments in here talking about maybe just trading a guy like a Raffle, just get some other assets in here. And I'm also just more upon just bringing up some of the other young guys that have been playing really well for the Phantoms. Guys like Linzinski, he's been getting his crack up here. He's been looking really good with the NHL squad. Guys like Wade Allison, I think he really deserves a shot to play in the NHL. Hell, maybe you can even go to guys like Forrester and Wisdom, because those guys have been playing well down in Lehigh Valley. So, and I know with the Phantoms right now, they're dealing with their COVID situation, so they haven't been playing their past few games. And Cam York is expected to make his AHL debut the next time the Phantoms play. So, right now, I was just looking forward to you don't have to make 20 moves at the deadline. Just make one move. So I know you're trying to do something. I know Fletcher is probably trying to do something, but it just right now it's you're just seeing that major separation with the fan base and the team right now, and that's what's kind of making me worry at the same time.
Because people are panicking.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying there's really there's no need, it just adds to it, and that's why it's and that's why most of the rumors and stuff are irrelevant. You know what I mean? And I listen. I know everybody loves it, and I can't I can't sit here and say I don't like rumors either, because it just gets talk going and everything, and I get that, but Patrick to Vegas. Come on. I just can't see that happening. That just it's just so it is so just it's so irrelevant to me that the Flyers would give up on Patrick like that when they knew from the beginning him signing that contract and everything, and knew that this season that it would take some time for him to kind of come back and get back into his game form and everything. Now, did I think it would take 41 games? No, I didn't. I would have expected a little bit more offensively, but it's not really realistic to expect a huge, chunk of what Patrick can do. But saying that they'll trade him when he's that young, and I mean, literally, if you think about it, Ratcliffe and Frost were in the same draft class, right? And Ratcliffe hasn't even sniffed the NHL. And Frost was kind of up and down, looked really good for a little bit, and then was kind of vanished, and then
got unlucky this year.
Yeah, got unlucky and got injured. So Patrick made the NHL with injuries already. You know what I mean? He had the core surgery, right? That was Patrick, right, with the core, right? Or was that his shoulder?
That I am not sure what with Patrick with the surgery. No, I think but. Just going on to that with Nolan, I understand the thought process that you're going through, because he's still a very young player, but that's where I'm at right now. Are the Flyers willing to wait any longer for no. Like, I know it's still like, to me, like, yes, I still think, yes, it's a little unfair to judge Patrick just because of all that he's gone through. But like, are the Flyers willing to wait another 2, 3, 4, 5 years for him to fully develop into what he can actually be, like going through a Sean Couturier
waited
situation?
5 years for Couturier.
But I mean, like in that stage of the Flyers situation, they're technically were in that retool mode with Ron Hextall, but now they're in Chuck Fletcher mode and they're trying to go for that win now mentality. Even though, yes, this season has been a really just an eyesore and a nightmare. But
did anybody expect it to take that long? Like, does anybody really think it's going to be that long for Patrick?
You never know. You never know. That's the thing. Because
I can't see it being that long.
Like, I know Patrick, his first year, you got 30-plus points. Yes, that's very solid in your rookie year, but second year had the same amount of points. Maybe had one more goal
if he
in there.
played last year with Hayes, like, if Patrick was healthy last year, he would have had a breakout year. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind for how good that team was, and then you add Patrick into that. Like, if you add Patrick into that, a lot of things could have been different about last year. Who knows if they even go and sign Grant, or trade for Grant at the deadline, right? Who knows if they even try to, mesh up a bunch of different things with the lines. Like, I don't know what can happen. There's a lot of possibilities there, and it doesn't have to be all positive either. It could be negative. But then again, like, I just can't.
We might have some breaking news, because I think someone in our comment section was talking about Lawton. Yeah, we got Chris Johnson saying it sounds like Scott Lawton has signed a new deal with the Philadelphia Flyers. We don't know which one yet, but
here we go.
We don't know the term, we don't know the amount, but it is sounding like Lawton is re-signing with the Philadelphia Flyers. So we're going to have to wait and see what it's going to be. There's nothing like on those major. It's basically right now they're saying he signed, and we don't know the term in the amount value for right now. But Lawton is going to be a Flyer for the foreseeable future, so that's something. Like, I don't mind it, because Lawton, I feel like, is that ideal guy you want in your bottom six, just because of how good of a bottom six player he is. So that I don't mind. I like Lawton a lot, and I just wish, like, maybe, you do look at maybe trading a guy like a Michael Raffle, but right now I don't see it as a possibility, just because, like, I know coming into this trade deadline, I did say, like, don't be surprised if the Flyers don't make a move, but then I end up disappointing myself, because, come on, Flyers, can you please make a move?
I'm just trying to figure out what this Lawton thing is.
Yeah,
Carl
right.
Soderberg just got traded to Chicago.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I'm like consistently refreshing Twitter just to see what the deal is with the contract for Lawton. And then I see like a joke from one of our comments in the comment section from the VR zone saying the Flyers have traded their entire roster for Connor McDavid. I mean, I would take that. Have a one-man show in Connor McDavid. I would take that.
Just have him play every position.
Exactly. Plays forward, defense, and goaltender. I think Connor McDavid can do all those things. Yeah, I'm trying to right now just the details with the Lawton extension have just not been okay. My dad's currently listening to a one of those podcasts from Eklund, so they're probably gonna be talking about the Lawton rumor too. I guess he'll let me know as well.
Is that the one with Bill Meltzer?
Is Bill Meltzer currently on that? Dad?
He told me he was coming. He told me he was coming on at 2:30.
2:30. So okay, he might be on there later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what this is. I'm not trying to have my head in my phone the whole time, but I didn't. I shouldn't even say I didn't expect it, because I knew as soon as we get on here, something would happen with the Flyers, and I'd be sitting here for 20 minutes trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, but I guess
didn't want them to lose Lawton, dude. I really didn't.
Yeah, so I guess when we try to find out the details on Lawton, I guess we can just go over the moves that have been made the prior days and today during the deadline, because there have been a lot of moves. So I guess we could start with the more bigger one that happened on the 7th a couple of days ago. That was the Islanders and the Devils trade for Paul Mary and Travis Zajac. So that was a big trade for the Islanders. They got pieces for their playoff push. Get Brett Connolly going to the Chicago Blackhawks. Carlson and Walmart going to the Florida Panthers. Riley Nash goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs from Columbus. You got Brandon Montour going to Florida. Devin Dubnyk going to Colorado. David Savard, the David Savard trade from the 3-team trade between them, Columbus and Detroit. So Tampa Bay gets Savard. Detroit gets a 4th-round pick, and then Brian Lashoff goes to Columbus, and Columbus and Detroit both retain salary. So that's a good move right there for Tampa Bay. Then we got John Merrill going to the Montreal Canadiens, Nick Foligno going to the Toronto Maple Leafs from Columbus. Columbus gets a 1st and a 4th-round pick there. You got David Riddick going to Toronto, so Toronto gets their backup goaltender. Got Braden Coburn going to the New York Islanders from the Ottawa Senators for a 7th-round pick. The big one that happened last night before midnight between Boston and Buffalo. Taylor Hall, Curtis Lazar go to the Boston Bruins. Buffalo gets a 2nd-round pick, and then there's Bjork back from the Boston Bruins. A big trade that happened today that's going to make some Flyers fans a little bit sick in the stomach. Jeff Carter going to the Pittsburgh Penguins for a conditional 3rd and 4th-round pick back to the LA Kings. Then you get the Adam Gaudette going to Chicago, Matthew Highmore going to Vancouver, Frederick Carlson going to Tampa Bay, and then right now Matthias Janmark going to the Vegas Golden Knights, Carl Soderberg going to the Colorado Avalanche, and that's basically all your gigantic moves from this trade deadline. And right now, still consistently just refreshing Twitter. Anything else, Chris, from
Pretty
the Twitter?
Yeah. I'm just trying to. I'm looking at the TSN, the trade bait. Nothing much since last update was at 211 with Soderberg. Trying to figure out if there's anything else. It doesn't seem like there's much on here.
They're saying that was an old tweet.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem like there's much in the last handful of minutes.
For what?
The last trade was the Soderberg
It might be wrong.
going to the Avs.
That was an old tweet.
Did I say he? Yeah, I said he went to the Blackhawks. He was already on the Blackhawks. He went to the Avs. At least I think I did.
So apparently people are saying that Lawton tweet might be false because it might have been an old tweet that got retweeted. So we don't officially know yet about Lawton, but I still do expect him to get re-signed.
No, Bob McKenzie, $3 million, 5 years.
Oh, Bob McKenzie.
$3 million AAV on a 5-year deal.
Ooh.
So 5 years, $3 million, $15 million in total. Very similar to the iFollow, which was 4 years, $4 million.
Dead. 5 years, $3 million for Lawton. Bob McKenzie. Yep.
$3 million.
$3 million per year.
Oh, per year. But they're not saying anything yet.
It's Bob McKenzie just tweeted it.
Now my Twitter wants to freeze, of course.
Fake Bob McKenzie.
What?
I'm sure it's not fake.
He has the check mark. He has the 1.6 million followers.
No, it's not fake. Yep, Pierre LeBrun, Elliot Freeman, 5 years, $3 million. Scott Lawton. That's a solid deal. Very similar to iFollow.
Yeah, but definitely I don't like. Yeah, the money is not the bad thing. No, it's not. Money is actually pretty good. I know a lot of people are definitely going to complain about the term, but that's just Flyers fans in general. But
I like it. I mean, I don't think there's really anything wrong with it. I mean, the term's similar, and again, I don't know. I mean, how old is Lawton? I think
he's in his mid-20s. I think he's maybe closer to around where Couture's age is, maybe in his mid to late.
I mean, I guess that means there must have been a lot of interest in him, right? If he's signing that long.
Yeah, there definitely was a lot of interest. I know, yeah, a lot of people are definitely not going to be happy with the term. But the money I'm fine with. The term is probably going to be the most issue with people, I would think, right now. But yeah, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you signed a third-line player to a 5-year deal." So, like, the term could be questionable at some point, but the money is not the worst thing in the world.
I don't really think the term's that questionable. I think that's a deal that you can kind of move easily if you have to. If it's that big of a deal, Yeah. Like if they really have to, the money isn't bad, and for what he does, that's perfect. Yeah.
So I guess you could say breaking news from the Florida podcast. So you got Scott Lawton signing a 5-year, $15 million contract, re-signing with the Philadelphia Flyers. So if we look at Scott Lawton right now, so let me go to Google and find Scott Lawton. So Scott Lawton currently right now is 26 years old, so this contract will definitely take him till when he's around 31, 32 years old. And if we look at his contract currently, he's not making that much from this current contract right now. Yeah, he's on a 2-year, $4.6 million contract, so he makes a couple of more $1 million on the new one.
I guess this kind of means that they're going to definitely be exposing those big contracts.
Probably. I would assume so. If you just re-sign Lawton, you're definitely protecting him. I just don't see the Flyers leaving him unprotected after signing him to that contract.
That has to mean that Jake's getting an exempt.
Yeah, I would assume Jake.
I mean, JVR. We already knew JVR.
Yeah, that's what I am fully assuming right now. Yeah, so Lawton's on the last year of a $2.3 million per year cap hit, so it'll go in the next year. He's making $700,000 more dollars. So I don't find it that bad. Like I said, I know a lot of people are going to be questionable about the term of the deal, just because.
So I didn't hear you. Sorry, it was 2 years, 2.3, right?
He was 2 years, 4.6, which is 2.3 annually.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean it's similar. I mean, I think he earned the extension. I think he's played good.
Yeah,
I mean he's pointless in his last 12, but still, I think Lawton's a good player, and I'm not gonna, make that like it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, so like I said, it's Lawton. Like I know this. He's the ideal guy you want in your bottom. Yes, like I keep saying, people are going to overreact because you're signing a bottom 6 guy to that long of a contract. But like I said, the money's not that bad. He's only getting paid $3 million a season, and if you go through the off season and you do the moves that you have to do, shake up the roster, because like what Chris said, this most likely means that Jake Voracek is not going to be protected in the expansion draft. Guys like JVR, where you're expected not to be protected in the expansion draft. So the Flyers are maybe pulling a little hope there for Seattle to hopefully take one of those guys and get the contracts and get that cap hit off the team. So right now they're definitely pushing for the expansion draft. And like Chris, like what are more your thoughts on that in terms of like how this impacts the expansion draft now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just means that they're going to expose those big contracts, like I said. I feel like for the most part, I think it's just kind of obvious that, if Fletcher's talking about before with the right mix of guys, that they're going to be trying to move a couple guys, and that's probably what they're going to do. They're trying to let Seattle kind of take a pick at what they want.
I still kind of I kind of feel like Fletcher's going to do what he did in Minnesota, and he's probably going to trade something to Seattle and say, like, okay, if you take this guy off the board, we will trade you something else in return. But can you please take this guy off the board for us? It's going to be something to what he did in Minnesota. That's what I feel like it's going to happen.
I mean, he doesn't want to do what he did in Minnesota. He doesn't want to lose a guy like he did with Alex Tuck.
Yeah.
And Lawton was the guy that I said they don't want to lose Lawton, and they didn't want to like Hextall. Didn't, like I know everybody like hated Hextall for doing that, for protecting Lawton with Vegas, and they didn't want to lose Lawton then, and it was a smart thing not to. I think Hextall realized that how valuable Lawton was. So I'm still, you know what? It's hard for me to say with Jake, and listen, I don't know, like. I don't know. I'm like 50-50. I still don't know if they're going to let him go or if they're, because I think it's a risk, to be honest, because they can lose him for nothing. And Jake's a good player, regardless of what anybody says. I could care less. He's a good player. I don't know, man. This
is what I think for going into next season. I think one of the three just isn't going to be a Flyer next year. Either JVR, Voracek, or Gustafson. One of those three players are not going to be a Flyer next year. And I'm not sure how it's going to happen. I'm sure expansion draft will definitely have an impact on that. But I just have that feeling that one of those three guys, they're not going to be on the team next year. Because if you're going into the expansion draft now, if the Flyers definitely aren't trading for anyone, they're not bringing anyone in, they're going to protect those 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, 1 goaltender, and your 2 forwards you're protecting are Giroux and Hayes because they have the no movement clauses. You're protecting Couturier. You're protecting Lawton now with his contract, so that's 4 players right there, 4 forwards protected. You have to protect Patrick. You have to protect Lindblom. And who's going to be that extra forward you protect now? So you got 6 right there. Like, who would be that other forward you protect? Konechny. Konechny's the other guy.
Yeah.
So then you go to defenseman. You know you're protecting Sanheim. You know you're protecting Provorov. You know you're protecting Myers if you're going that 3 defenseman route. And then you know Carter Hart's the goaltender you protect. So if this is the route the Flyers are going down to, yeah, you're definitely going to expect guys like Voracek and JVR to be left on the board for Seattle to take in the expansion draft.
Yeah. I think it's just tough though with Jake. Like, I mean, I think JVR is tough too because I still think regardless of whoever the Flyers leave exempt in the forward group, I still think Seattle's going to take a defenseman.
Could be
because I think there's a lot there for them. Like I could see them taking it. I think it depends on the way that they build their team.
Yeah.
Like if it's similar to Vegas, I could see them taking Hag. Like if you go back, you look at Vegas's expansion, and again, this is just but they went with physical defensemen. They took McNabb out of expansion. I'm trying to think who else they took.
They took the defenseman
John Merrill from New Jersey.
They also got him from Theodore from Anaheim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were all big physical defensemen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's tough because, and I think the reason I don't know is because no one expected this. Like, this is not the conversation I want to be having today. It just isn't.
I don't blame you for having that ideal set, but sadly we are in the reality where the Flyers are just right now they shifted back into their mediocrity. And right now they need to, if this franchise really wants to push into that win now mentality, they got to make changes in the offseason to make this team into a contender that's actually going to be consistent. And definitely looking at the core, you're definitely going to maybe have to shake up some of those veterans and bring in new guys for the locker room. You just, like, you can't roll back next season with the same exact team. You just can't. You have to make some type of change.
I think they're going to. I think they've already said that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of crystal clear that they're going to be.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they do.
Because I personally think that looking on the defensive side, you need a veteran defenseman to play with both Provorov and Sanheim. And then you could put Myers on the third pairing, and who knows who you play. Maybe you keep Morin around, you play him on the third pairing with Myers. Maybe you keep Ghost around and you play him on the third pairing with Myers. But I do think Sanheim and Provorov need veteran defensemen to play alongside, because Sanheim this year, when he's paired with Myers, it hasn't been the best. But I feel like when Sanheim has been paired with Braun, Sanheim plays a little bit better. So I think Sanheim is just like Provorov. He needs that veteran guy that's going to be there. He's going to be that stay-at-home defenseman to where Sanheim is able to do his thing on the offensive side and because Sanheim, he can move the puck up and down the ice. He can skate, and he's gifted offensively. And yeah, he's more of a two-way defenseman. He's not this highly gifted offensive defenseman, but Sanheim is a defenseman that likes to get up into the play. But like what I said, you need 2 veterans on that blue line to help Sanheim and Provorov. That's where I'm getting at, though.
Yeah, dude, I hear you. And I've said it for a while. I think whatever they do there is in the offseason.
Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen.
I think it's Ellis or it's Ekholm or it could be anyone. I mean, I don't know. I mean, could you imagine they go for like Burns or something?
Oh, God.
Carlson?
Oh, no.
It's doable.
I know it's due. I don't want that cap hit.
Give him
unless you force San Jose to retain some salary, but they're not going to do that.
Give them Jake.
That's also possible.
Give him JVR. No, I'm just throwing random ones, but no, I'm kidding. I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I seriously have no idea. Like, I can't see. I can't see them making any more moves today. I think they're done. I don't think they were going to make a trade to begin with.
Knowing you say that, at 259, Jake Voracek is traded for Johnny Gaudreau.
How long has that been? How long has that been in the rumor mill since 2016? Oh my God!
Breaking news: it's 3:01, and the Flyers made a trade.
Yeah, the Flyers will be the ones that make a trade at like 7:00 tonight.
Okay. Well, they pull the Cleveland Browns at the trade deadline, and they forget to do the paperwork, so the trade doesn't go through.
Yeah.
God. Oh boy.
I was laughing at a lot of those memes with Fletcher. There's ones of him like looking at the computer, and it's like, what time does Kohl's close? There's ones of him playing Space Invaders.
So,
some of them are so funny.
So here we have a tweet right here saying that with the Flyer, this is from Brandon Summerman saying, with the Flyers extended Lawton for 5 more years, he will now be a Flyer for at least 12. He will join Claude Giroux, who has been a Flyer for 14 years, Voracek, who's been a Flyer for 12, and Couturier, who has been a Flyer for 11 years. And yeah, so Lawton is going to be a longer tenured Flyer with his contract now. So, and I'm trying to just consistently scroll through Twitter just to see where anything else happens. So right now, look like there really isn't that, I guess, many other deals happening currently. We are a half hour away from the deadline ending, and it sounds like Jeff Carter is going to be wearing number 77 playing in Pittsburgh.
Shut up. It's a nightmare.
Like, I know I keep saying Flyers fans are going to cringe in their stomach, and I said yesterday that I cringed in my stomach, but Jeff Carter hasn't been a Flyer since, 2011? So I guess it's been a while. But yeah, I can understand that. He was a fan favorite, and seeing him in Pittsburgh is going to make everyone cringe, but he hasn't been a Flyer for long. And basically now more of his career is slated to be remembered more as a Los Angeles King than a Philadelphia Flyer. So
it's just so weird seeing Carter in the Penguins.
Yeah. And you know what would make this year even more dreadful? And you know it. And you know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm getting at. The Pittsburgh Penguins winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we got a comment saying from Dave T saying that there's Gustafson rumors going on now. So what are the rumors that you're finding? Gustafson.
No, who said it?
Dave T in the comment section. He's saying that there's rumors right now, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. I know Gustafson was a guy that's rumored to be maybe just shipped off to get maybe like a late round pick. Like that's definitely like what's something that could happen.
Oh, I would gladly take Gustafson for a 5th. The guy hasn't played in God knows how long.
Yeah,
I don't even remember the last game he played.
He hasn't played in a while. It's been a while. Yeah, we got Take Mark saying a bag of pucks. Yeah, I'll take a bag of pucks.
This is from David Pagnotta. The Red Wings may be working on another move by the sounds of it, but I'm told as of now it's very unlikely Mark Stahl is dealt by the 3 p.m. Eastern deadline.
Yeah.
And we got one guy that was rumored in Flyerland. I wouldn't have minded Stahl, but at a $5.7 million cap hit,
that cap hit's not interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I think it would have been a good guy for the room. I think one of any Stahl brother is good.
McDavid for Gustafson, please. If Edmonton had their old GM, maybe you can convince him, but because their old GM was very stupid. But so we also got Hunter Brody getting his opinion. He put his whole thread out there on the entire Lawton signing. So he says he gets it's frustrating because the change is demanded, but for his versatility up and down the middle in the lineup, along with the penalty kill, he likes to move. The change we want more is with the top dogs than Scott Lawton. The problem is you shouldn't have to move on from a Selke forward like Couturier. Giroux has a no trade clause, and not a damn soul is going to want to touch Voracek's contract. Fletcher's in a tough spot.
Not true.
A third line piece isn't where the major change needs to happen, in his opinion. Is there a way to bribe Seattle with some picks to take Voracek or JVR to help out with some heavier contracts to switch up the core? He has no idea, but the offseason is definitely going to be interesting. I mean, yeah, I can definitely understand from the fact that, the Voracek Voracek, yes, he's still a very good player. He's still a really good point producer in his league. But yes, that contract definitely, he's making the 8.6 around for another 3-4 years. So especially in a flat cap world, that's not going to be interesting. I would say JVR, even though his contract is not even going to be even more interesting, he's only making that, what is it, $7 million for another 2 years. So
Yeah.
maybe a team is more willing to take on JVR just because his term is shorter than a guy like Voracek. But that's where it comes all to Seattle again, because they're going to be a franchise that's looking to build their roster up. Maybe you can convince them to take a guy like a JVR or Voracek, but then at that point you got to really hope and pray that they do, because you never know if Seattle even wants to take on contracts like that either, when they have to focus on the rest of the team as well. But
who knows? Listen, I seriously don't. I just seriously do not see a team not trading for Jake Voracek. There's just the guy has too much value to me. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. But in my opinion,
well, Voracek is your favorite player, so I think that's where the bias comes from.
It could be. I don't know. I mean, I think for the most part, like, I think teams seriously think Voracek is valuable, and I think there's just a lot of people that think he's not worth anything, and I think that's just ridiculous.
Like, I think Voracek is definitely worth something. It's what is his cap hit that's going to make him a little less valuable, because teams are not going to want to take that on. That's why. That's mainly the only reason why he's not probably going to be perceived as valuable as most. If he was making a lot less money, if he was making maybe like around $5-6 million, yeah, then you got to start with how valuable he actually can be in a trade. And then we also got so many comments in here saying that Eric Gustafson for Connor McDavid. So I guess that's the new hype trade in our comment section currently.
Yeah, I don't know where these Gus rumors are coming from. I haven't seen it. It's been like it's been like chirps from a dead bird about that.
Yeah, we got a Flyers card collector saying that McDavid for Gustafson, that is great. We'll add a bag and chips in there too. Then we got the VR zone saying Eric Gustafson for Connor McDavid, Crosby, and Ovechkin. Now the objective of the game is to see how much heroin would be involved for this to go through.
That's a good one.
Hey, you never know. Maybe the Kraken, since they're a team that's looking to build their team still, maybe they're definitely going to be interested in draft picks. And it's going to be weird too with this NHL draft as well, because maybe the Flyers don't value their first round pick that much this year, just because the uncertainty of the NHL draft, because not many leagues are playing because of COVID. Some leagues in the juniors aren't playing. Really, it's only been college, some teams overseas. So there's really going to be some uncertainty with the players that are going to be going in the first round of the NHL draft. So maybe the Flyers don't see that first round pick as valuable, and maybe they can use that to help their assets a little bit. Maybe they use that to, chip in for Seattle. You just never know what's going to happen during this offseason. And then we, speaking of Hunter Brody, we brought up your thread earlier talking about it. So yeah, we saw that you did like the Lawton deal. So how you doing, Hunter? But yeah, just
this tweet right here from Yuri Wallach,
yes,
sums it up. The fact that Lawton signed a 5-year deal means whoever was trading for him would have kept him and signed him. Fletcher didn't want to lose Lawton. Flyers sticking to the plan. Thank you. That's exactly what that is. And I said that from the beginning. That probably means that most teams were calling for him. Again, it was all the teams. I mean, I saw Toronto getting Foligno. I guess that kind of ruled out Lawton for them. I know the Avs were a team that were pushing for something a couple hours ago around noon.
I think Edmonton was also another team that was interested in Lawton.
And Boston. And Boston's not getting Lawton now.
Well, they got Taylor Hall, so I don't think they need to worry about that.
Yeah, but that was the other team.
And do you think the Taylor Hall curse is going to come true?
No. I can't see. There's just no way that happens. Like, seriously, if that happens again, I don't know if Taylor Hall is going to get signed by another team. I'm serious.
What? This is the Taylor Hall curse. He's been on so many teams. All those teams don't make the playoffs except for one team in the New Jersey Devils, where he literally carried the team to where it went in the Hart Trophy. But every team never made the playoffs. They always got higher up.
Too. The Coyotes just suck. They just suck. If you put him with a good team, I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, it's weird too, because with Boston, the way they're dealing with things right now, because Rask is coming back soon, I think, and Halak's still dealing with his COVID problems. They're really lacking on defense since Charlie McAvoy is still not playing with the team currently with his injury. And like, I would have expected Boston to maybe tap into more of the defensive market, but I guess maybe they're relying when McAvoy comes back, they're going to be fine. But it's going to be weird, too, because their young goaltenders, that like since Halak and Rask have been out, the young goaltenders for Boston have actually not been playing that bad. Like a guy like Swayman, he's been pretty decent for them.
I think Vladar got absolutely lit up last night.
Yeah, Vladar got lit up, but that's besides the point. But yeah, because right now the Boston media is completely running, even though they've been doing this for like so many years in a row, like running Tuukka Rask out of town. And I definitely like with the way their young goaltenders have been playing, it's just like I feel like the Boston media is just like up to here with Tuukka Rask, even though like none of this has been his fault. And Boston just completely wants to run this guy out of town. I have no idea why. He's been an elite goaltender in this league for so many years. But I guess like Boston's just salty about the losing to Chicago in 2013, then losing to St. Louis in 2019. So I guess they blame Rask for most of that stuff, even though there's a lot of other things to blame Boston for. But
I can't see how you blame a goaltender for choking when literally
Marchand took a shift off and let Pietrangelo score.
I think you've literally been I legitimately think Boston has been literally a cup contender probably since the year after they won the Cup, 12, right?
Yeah, as long as Rask has been there, they've been a cup contender.
Yeah, right. And they've only won once. But you blame that all on Rask?
No. Yeah, and I know the year they won, Thomas was a net for them, and Thomas was just playing unreal that season. But like they knew Rask was going to be the guy after Thomas left. So Rask won a Vezina trophy. He got them to the Stanley Cup final twice. And I think there was one year during that stretch where Boston just underachieved because they got so many injuries. They didn't make the playoffs, but still they were 16. I think it was 15.
The year they were back and forth with the Flyers.
I think so, yeah. And it was just we got another joke trade in our comment section. Yeah, Raffle for Washington for Ovechkin in the first round pick. Oh my God. I love those joke trades and stuff like that. It's always really comical. And also one thing that we forgot to mention that's going to be happening later in their show. So around 3:15, we're going to get James Jacobone from High and Wide Radio. So he's going to join us for around a half hour talking about the trade deadline, his thoughts on the Flyers this season. So it's going to be a really good time around there. News. What's the breaking news?
Trade is in the works to send Sam Bennett to Florida.
Oh boy.
From Calgary. A guy that I think they've been calling Sam Bennett to leave Calgary since like 2014.
Yes. Yeah, that's been a rumor in the making.
Yeah, I mean that's been there for God knows how long. That's just that thing has been recycled for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just got the tweet from Elliot Freeman saying now it's Sam Bennett to Florida. So I wonder what Florida is sending in return for Sam Bennett. So I wonder what that's going to happen. Then we got some more tweets going on around here about future stuff for the Flyers. Another one from Brandon Summerman saying if the cap doesn't go up in 2022, the Flyers have around $34 million in space after extending Lawton. That's a big year for Philadelphia, who have to extend Couturier and Farabee, re-sign Giroux. But that $34 million doesn't include new deals this year for guys like Hart, Sanheim, and Patrick. If quote unquote maybe one of the Patrick is still here, which I do expect Patrick to still be here. The Flyers, it's going to be a busy offseason for them. Definitely. It's going to be a really, really busy offseason. And like when you were talking about Elliot Friedman and his 31 Thoughts in his podcast, where he spent like 20 or something minutes talking about the Philadelphia Flyers, and he said they're going to make the offseason. He even said it, the offseason, they're going to be making some moves, and there's going to be a lot of big hockey trades from them. So it's going to be I know we're tired of waiting. I understand that from the Flyers fan base perspective. I understand you're tired of waiting. We're tired of this stretch of mediocrity that we've been for basically an entire decade, where you miss the playoffs, you make the playoffs, you miss the playoffs, you make the playoffs, all that stuff. But the one thing I just don't understand is that people are already losing their faith in Chuck Fletcher, where last year he came into a team where he really didn't need to do anything, because that was basically a team that Hextall built. Fletcher just put some pieces in there, like Hayes, like Niskanen, like Braun. And he brought in other stuff like Derek Grant and Nate Thompson to help solidify the depth of that team. Mm-hmm. And I can understand the frustration of not addressing the Matt Niskanen situation, but you didn't have the money to address the Matt Niskanen situation because you had to sign guys like Phil Myers to a contract. So that was probably the primary focus there.
They had a lot. The only thing that they were going to do going into this year that everybody thought was sign your RFAs, UFAs, maybe look at something. If you can do it, and that's it. Well, what happens? Niskanen retires out of nowhere. Everybody's like, oh my God. And then they sign Braun, which wasn't even, everybody makes like that was a panic thing. They knew about Niskanen getting re-signed. Fletcher said that, or retired. Yeah. I think the amount of times I've said the word or thought of the word re-signed is why I said that. Him retiring, right? They knew about that since after the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I think it was just that hard for him to do literally anything to get Niskanen back there. The only guy that was going to replace Niskanen was Pietrangelo. Torrey Krug wouldn't have done it.
What?
TJ Brody.
We might have a trade from the Flyers too.
Really?
Eric Gustafson, possibly. Here we go. Where is it at? Eric Gustafson to Montreal.
I broke it.
What?
My father said he broke the trade. Oh, wow. So there you go, Flyers fans. Chuck Fletcher made a move. And he got Eric Gustafson off the team.
Who'd they get?
Right now, it's good. And my house phone is currently ringing, so it's probably Chuck Fletcher. Yeah, so sorry, everyone, if you have to hear my dad in the background, but it doesn't. So I want to see what this trade is. Let's see, Eric Gustafson from the Philadelphia. Yeah, a lot of the rumors, too, that the Canadians were going to get Eric Branson. Okay, so now everyone loves Chuck Fletcher now. Everyone loves him.
Like, well, I just don't get it. Like, what is the? Oh. If they got like a third or a second, I'd be so happy.
Let's see. It's got to be a late round pick. Like I just can't see them getting a high. Like if Montreal was that stupid to give the Flyers a higher round pick for Eric Gustafson, that I wouldn't know how to explain it.
Bennett is a second round pick and a prospect.
Second round pick and a prospect.
Owen Tippett.
Oh, okay, yeah, they have one of Florida's top prospects.
Oh, now the Flyers want to tease me with pictures of Scott Lawton. Really? Right now? Right now? You want to?
Okay, where is it at? Oh, here we go. Yep. Eric Gustafson to Montreal for a late round pick for Elliot Friedman.
I'm just talking about purchases, really. I think
All right. There you go, everyone. So Eric Gustafson is no longer a Philadelphia Flyer. So the Flyers just cleared $3 million in cap. There you go.
I'm still trying to find it. Bennett to Florida is second in 2022, and Emil Heineman.
Oh,
that's at. I mean, Gustafson
right now it's like a late round pick.
Yeah, Gustafson was straight doo-doo on ice, so there you go.
Was traded to what? Oof. I'm trying to see. Yeah, there's the Bennett trade. I guess there's still more details coming up, but yeah, it is sounding like it is a late round pick. And Chris, look, you got a Twitter people.
Oh my God.
Tweeting gifs now that this is the Flyers fan reaction when Gustafson gets traded.
Now the fake Flyers account just tweeted per GM Chuck Flair, the Flyers have signed goes to a multi-year extension from like 2017. I want to kill someone, dude. This is I hate this. I hate the deadline. I hate when they do that, like the fake stuff. And they like bring up the old tweets.
Yeah, now everyone in Flyers country is happy that Eric Gustafson is traded.
Good. He was a straight pylon. He was terrible.
And then Jamie Bascal just tweets, "It's official. Ghost will not be benched for Eric Gustafson again."
Thank God.
I'm trying. It's most likely going to be like a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick, but I just want to see what pick it is, just so we get the full details. And now we got.
Oh my God!
Now what?
7th and 22, and they retain 50%. What?
Oh God!
Come on, Fletcher! Oh,
Father, It's a 7th in 2022, and the Flyers retained 50% salary.
They retained 1.5.
Yep.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't care. His contract was only 1 year. I don't care about the salary retention. I don't care about that. It's only going to be for the rest of the year. That's it. So off season comes.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I don't even know why I reacted like that. I kind of just saw. I was like, what?
What is it?
50% of his salary.
But it's just this year.
Yes, his contract was only for a year.
His contract's only 1 year.
I don't think we're going to do anything.
Yeah. So the Flyers, they lost $1.5 million in cap space. Yeah, I think with the bank, because I know what Troy O'Connor was talking about with them banking cap space, with like consistently sending guys up and down from the taxi squad, that they were banking like around $6 million in cap space. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but yeah, with this Gustafson trade, they probably do have around, if that bank cap space is actually true, around $7 million maybe in cap space because of all that. So, and maybe, you never know, with that bank cap space, maybe that does allow Fletcher just to call young guys up and down from the Phantoms, just to, have
so that actually would have been reported earlier, but David Pagnotta messed up the words. He put Branson instead of Gustafson.
Oh.
So that would have been like 20 minutes ago.
Okay. That's interesting. And Hunter said on Twitter, how the hell did Chuck Fletcher trade Eric Gustafson?
I have no idea.
Well, he convinced Montreal, okay, we'll take half the money for this year, so you could take him and just give us a 7th round back. That's all you have to do. I mean, I will take that any day of the goddamn week.
I will too. I mean, if you were able to move a guy that was
a pylon
terrible for your team, and you at least got a pick out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you retain money, who cares? You know,
Chicago was able to trade him to Calgary, so I think anything is possible.
Yeah, right. And it's not even. And honestly, now that I regret.
Hey Ed, how you doing, Ed? It just don't worry about the 50% retaining. It's only for
it's 1 year.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's 1 year.
Don't worry about that.
Look, hey, they got a pick out of it.
Yeah, they got a pick out of it. A 7th round pick for next year's draft. So anything else that's been gone.
Bergeron and Joe Pavelski were 7th round picks. Just saying.
What'd you say, Chris?
Bergeron and Pavelski were 7th round picks. Just saying.
They were. And my father said that kind of trade for Gustafson is equivalent to one of his guys in his beer league.
Ask him if one of the guys in the beer league is a puck-moving, stretch-passing, only good on the power play defenseman.
Is one of your guys on your beer league team a puck-moving, stretch-passing, only power play defenseman, and he's a pylon on defense?
No, actually, our defensemen are better.
Okay. He said his defense are better.
Yeah, that Gustafson signing was easily Fletcher's worst signing.
Yeah.
His role was already here. I honestly think they only signed him just if Ghost didn't work.
Probably.
So now I have to make 2 videos. Or do I do both in one? I'll do both in one, I think. Yeah, I'm going to have to. They signed Lawton, trade Gus. Flyers are done for the day.
Yeah, the Flyers we got, 7 minutes left in the deadline, unless, a major blockbuster deal happens. It's probably not going to happen now, but... Yeah, it was shit. Like Gus's contract was only for this year, so the salary retention for only go to the end of the year, so you don't have to worry about that. And I think like contracts like McDonald's contract, I think McDonald's salary retention comes off this year too, as well. So the Flyers do gain a couple million there in the salary cap from those salary retentions. So the Flyers, they are going to gain a little bit of cap for the offseason, so that's going to be interesting.
All right, over under, they make a trade in the next 6 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, God. They trade James Van Riemsdyk to. They trade him to. Oh, that's tough. They trade him. I can't think of anything right now. They trade him to the who can JVR go to? I can't think. They trade him to. I'm trying to think of a random ass team that could take him. They'll trade him to the Vegas Golden Knights. No, wait, they won't be able to afford him. They'll trade him to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for a Hartford Whalers jersey.
Is it a reverse retro?
Yes.
There you go. I'm so annoyed now because I already made my thumbnail of
the Lawton
sign. Now I have to make another one with Gus in it and edit it. Great.
I really do hope there's like that one last minute.
Someone put in the chat, whoever has Luke Shen.
Is he even playing anymore?
Luke Shen? I don't think so.
I'm trying to. I really just want there to be.
Eric Gustafson scored the greatest goal in Flyers history.
What was that?
The first goal in the game against the Rangers in the reverse retro jerseys when he sent a bullet past Georgiev's glove.
And then someone says, you trade JVR for Dino Nuggets.
With ketchup?
That's the thing, VR. What's the side dish for the Dino Nuggets? Because that's what you got to talk about.
All right, I'm going to ask you this. Would you do this trade?
What?
A 5th-round pick to the Red Wings for Mark Stahl, 50% retained at 2.3?
If they're retaining, how much is 50% retained on his salary?
2.3. It's like 2.3, 4, 5. It's like all that.
I mean, if it's only for this year, like why not? But I don't know.
It can help out the locker room.
It could. It definitely could. Then we got a big dog status saying JVR for Dale Weiss. Then the VR zone saying that the side dish is going to be barbecue sauce with the Dino Nuggets. I think that could be a win-win on that situation.
Could be.
Could be.
It is so weird because I cannot find a single picture of Eric Gustafson in a Flyers jersey. Like every single one is like a movie actor or someone different. It's like not Gustafson.
Then Tales of a Failed Life saying you don't give up on a generational talent like Dino Nuggets, though. I mean,
oh, it's a good one.
No, Ed, it's not a Ron Francis Whalers jersey. It's going to be I'm trying to think of a current Hurricanes player right now, or even like an old Whalers player. It'll be a Chris Pronger Whalers jersey. Chris Pronger. Then VR Sun saying Chuck Fletcher deleted all of the pictures of Eric Gustafson on the Flyers. Just like completely control alt delete Eric Gustafson everywhere.
Yeah, he got rid of every single one.
Now everyone's in the chats talking about trading for Dino Nuggets. We got Micah talking about he's got a trade for 2 pizzas and 5 wings and 2 Dino Nuggets, retain 15% of the cash.
Yeah, Dino Nuggets.
Yes.
Oh my god. I love that everybody's talking about Dino Nuggets in the chat here. It's great.
I mean, it's a generational talent, man. Dino Nuggets are unbeat.
Yeah, they're better than McDavid. Better hands than McDavid.
Oh my god. We have a deal good in the works, gents. Man. It's been a while since you start talking about Dino Nuggets for freaking trades. So we're now a minute away from the trade deadline ending, and we're around 15 minutes from Jim from High and Wide Radio joining us. So definitely stay tuned for that, everyone. And I guess we can then we say how much cap space do we have in Dino Nuggets? Well, why is everyone now talking about Dino Nuggets?
Oh God, the Dino Nuggets, man. They're getting everybody all antsy.
That Jim's gonna come in here. He's gonna see all these comments about Dino Nuggets. He's gonna be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah, he's never gonna join the pod again. Start seeing something about Dino Nuggets. I wouldn't either if I saw that.
Oh my God!
Like these guys are nuts. Dino Nuggets.
Okay, here we go. With the trade of Eric Gustafson, the Flyers now have about $2.8 million in cap space. That includes Shane Gostisbehere when he was put on
Bring in
waivers.
Mark Stahl. 2.3.
It was highly aggressive.
It was, but
It was very aggressive.
it was. But you know what? Do I care? Nope.
Phil Kessel's bonus is around 25 Dino Nuggets. Now, I think you got to put in hot dogs right there, big dog status. I think Phil Kessel would be more his salary in hot dogs than anything else.
Yeah, you get that guy a one-way ticket to Cheeseburger. Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, I'm happy. I'm you know what? I'm happy they got a 7th for
Okay, so we got someone that's just joining the live stream. Chris is saying, "Sup, everyone." He's at work. Can you get a trade deadline recap? Yes, you can, Chris. So we go throughout the. Do you want a deadline recap just for today or like the past few days? I would assume you just want it for today, though. So if I go back to the trade tracker for today's NHL trade deadline. So if you missed last night's trade, Chris, you got Taylor Hall, Curtis Lazar going to Boston from Buffalo.
I feel like you're talking to me.
Yeah, but there's a Chris in the chat that's asking about this. So Taylor Hall, Carlos Lazar, the Boston. Buffalo gets a second-round pick, Anders Bjork, in return. Jeff Carter goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins from the Los Angeles Kings, and they get a conditional 3rd and 4th-round pick in return for Jeff Carter. You got a little bit of a trade between the Chicago Blackhawks, Vancouver Canucks. Adam Gaudette goes to Chicago. Matthew Highmore goes to Vancouver. Dmitry Kulikov goes to Edmonton from New Jersey. Jersey gets a conditional 4th-round pick. Then you get some of the other bigger trades. Matthias Janmark going to the Vegas Golden Knights from the Chicago Blackhawks. They get a 2nd and a 3rd-round pick in return. Carl Soderberg goes to the Colorado Avalanche from the Chicago Blackhawks. Sam Bennett, that's one of the bigger ones in the last minute, goes to Florida from Calgary for Emil Heineman and a 2nd-round pick. And then the Flyers trade that happened a couple of minutes ago. Eric Gustafson goes to the Montreal Canadiens for a 2022 7th-round pick, and the Flyers retain 50% of his salary cap. So there's your trade deadline recap. Oh, wow. We got a donation, a $9.99 donation from Chris saying, "Thanks a million." Thanks, Chris. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it. It means a lot.
We got Ed saying a Dino Nuggets, mac and cheese, and a biscuit. I do that deal in a heartbeat.
Big dog status. That's definitely just a rumor about Patrick.
Yeah. Hey, Justin. How you doing, Justin, from the Painted Lines? Really big work with the 76ers here on the Painted Lines. Just got a donation. Yeah, we did, Justin. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Chris, for that donation. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, it means a lot. And we're not just saying that. That's like genuinely serious.
Yeah, like that's the first time in Florida podcast history we got a donation.
That is the FUP history.
Then we got Justin saying, "Chris, you should donate $1 million for your thanks." Yeah, if we roll through the Twitterverse one more time just to see if there's like any last minute trades that gone through.
Apparently, the Hawks listened on Zadorov.
They did. Interesting. We got Ben Hutton to Toronto.
Who?
Ben Hutton, according to Elliot Friedman.
We just got the double. $20 from Chris.
Oh, really?
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. Yeah, thank you. So we go from the first donation in Flyers podcast history to doubling that. So thank you a lot, Chris.
We appreciate it. It means a lot.
Really appreciate that. Really do. So so yeah, it's and Pierre LeBrun saying that the Blues are done for today. No trades for St. Louis. It's kind of weird for St. Louis since they really need help on defense. And I know there's been a lot of rumors from Mike Hoffman possibly getting traded, so I guess St. Louis just didn't want to do anything. Okay, so Chris is going back to work, but he'll be listening. Okay, thank you a lot, Chris, for those donations.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I hope you have the best workday ever. I hope that continues.
And you got
retire.
Got Chris Tarian replying to the Eric Gustafson trade saying defensive depth question mark with a laughing emoji. Yeah, Chris Tarian is really allowed to be open-minded since he doesn't do Flyers postgame anymore.
Yeah, he said earlier something about there shouldn't be anybody being untouchable.
Yeah.
I'm like, Sean Couturier, question mark?
Oh, here we go. Ducks trade Ben Hutton to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a mid-round pick.
What position does Ben Hutton play?
That is a very good question.
Is he defenseman?
I can check that out real quickly.
Why can't I remember Ben Hutton?
Ben Hutton, he is currently, if I can find it, he's a defenseman, yes.
He is, okay, all right.
In his season with the Ducks, he has 5 points in 34 games. He's a -13.
Yeah.
And he has over...
Amedeo, you want to end this early? We can go pack Gus's bags for him and drive him to the airport if you'd like. We can split we can use that money Chris gave us. We could split half the plane ticket.
Yeah, do we have to pay for Gustafson's visa too, or anything like that? Do we have to pay for his passport?
We could stay in quarantine with him if we'd like.
Oh God, I don't want to do that.
You know, that is something that I wanted to bring up. Do these guys have to stay in quarantine?
Yes, they do.
Okay,
I think especially like a guy like Gustafson, since he's crossing the border.
Yeah, I know Riddick is 7 days.
Yeah, I think it's different
already.
Yeah, because I think if you cross the border, it's 14 days. But if it's just like between the United States or it's just Canada to Canada, it's 7 days or something like that.
Yeah,
we got a Cole Drew saying that. I don't know why, but it feels so weird to see Jeff in a Penguins uniform. Yeah, it definitely is weird to see that. Oh my God, Chris, with a $50 donation. I like that our Flyers kept the kids. They are still a very young team. Not a fan of our coach. I don't like it when he benches our kids. Jesus Christ, Chris, with the $50 donation. Thank you very much.
Guy. Oh my God.
A $10 donation to a $20 donation to a $50 donation. Thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate it. But we're not forcing you to keep donating. I don't want you to ruin all your money.
Yeah, seriously. I feel bad. Like,
we really appreciate it, but I don't want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
We got Allie saying it's the play of the game from Chris. Oh God, man! Now I lost my train of thought because we got $50 donation and like the spit. Jeez, yeah. Like again, thank you a lot, Chris, for that. Tales of a Failed Life saying, "Damn, Chris, you're making the rest of us look really bad." Yeah. So 7 minutes past the ending of the NHL trade deadline. There's probably more of those trades that are just like in the works, but they haven't been announced yet. So like if those trades are like getting set, they're allowed to happen after the deadline. You just got to wait and see what happens. But here, Eric Goodbranson has been dealt from the Ottawa Senators to the Nashville Predators.
Wait, what?
Yep, Eric Goodbranson to this is what I'm seeing right now. Yep. I think so. Yep. Predators get Eric Goodbranson from Ottawa for a 7th round pick. It's a 7th round pick in 2023.
I'm trying to think.
Here we go. Leafs trade Barabanov to San Jose for, I guess that's like an AHL trade right there. Yeah, Barabanov. Yeah, so these are like these last minute trades that are coming in that haven't been announced yet. So trying to see where this poor naive Montreal fan. This poor naive man. Saying Eric Gustafson is 2 years removed from a 60-point season, has 10 in 24 games this year. Assist totals are great. Might be a guy who can facilitate on the power play. Not going to act like I know much about him other than that. Oh, the naiveness. The naiveness of that. I feel bad for you, Montreal fan. I feel bad. I feel so bad for even though and then Chris saying that it's GameStop money, just sharing for the boys. It's been a tough year. Yeah, thank you a lot, Chris, for that.
We appreciate it. It's like it's insane. I'm smiling like a pig in shit over here.
Biggie Cheese, the Flyers have made a move. They traded Eric Gustafson to Montreal.
Yeah,
that was the
for a
move.
7th round pick.
Yes.
Amedeo, I'm gonna look up every 7th round pick now to make this trade look amazing.
Oh God,
I'm gonna make Chuck Fletcher look amazing.
And Biggie Cheese, the Flyers also extended Scott Laughton to a 5-year deal worth $15 million, so he's getting paid $3 million annually. So, Chuck, yeah, like I wasn't like what I said at the beginning of the podcast. I wasn't expecting this huge, giant, humongous trade. Just trade someone just to get a depth pick.
Yeah,
and there you
a
go,
small move to
Eric
maybe
Gustafson,
a draft pick or something.
Hey, there you go, Eric Gustafson. That's it.
Yep. Andreas Janssen was a 7th round pick.
Really?
Eric Holla, Ryan DeZingle, Justin Braun, Carl Gunnarsson, very solid defenseman with the Blues, Jason Demers, Anton Strawman, some 3 really solid defensemen there. Frederick Anderson, Andre Palat, and Patrick Hornquist.
Oh boy. Yeah, so was it a 2022 7th round pick?
Some other ones are Nikita Gusev, Kubalik, Nudavara, and Victor Olofsson. Chuck Fletcher is a genius.
We got the Flyers Nation tweeting the Gus Bus saga. Chuck Fletcher signs Eric Gustafson to a 1-year, $3 million in only NHL offseason move after missing out of the Eastern Conference Final by 1 game and losing Matt Niskanen. Then he trades Eric Gustafson for scraps while retaining 50% of his salary at the deadline. That is the Gus Bus saga, according to Flyers Nation. And we're currently at 3:11 right now, so we're like a few minutes away from James joining us from High and Wide Radio. So definitely stay tuned for that, everyone. So he's going to definitely give his opinions on the Flyers trade deadline moves now that they actually have made moves. So maybe like his opinion is kind of shifted a little bit, but yeah, definitely get his opinions on the Flyers this year, just his thoughts on what they have to do in the off season. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. He should be joining us in the next few couple of minutes here. And apparently Chuck Fletcher is running a little bit behind on his press conference. So we're still waiting for Chuck Fletcher's press conference at the same time. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, definitely. We're gonna be on here till like around 4:30 or something like that. So we're definitely gonna update you guys on what
could be a little later if something else happens because we might go over. We might go over.
You never know.
You never know. But
yeah, and we're definitely going to keep you up to date with the quotes from Chuck Fletcher's press conference. So definitely stay tuned for that whenever he does appear to show up at the podium. So we never know when that's going to be, but according to Jamie Baskow, he's running a little bit late, and we do have our guest joining us right now. So hey, Jim from High and Wide Radio, how you doing, Jim? It's a long time coming to join the Florida podcast. How you doing here, buddy?
Doing awesome, guys. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing good, man. Thanks for coming on.
We're doing a lot better since Chuck Fletcher actually made a move.
Yeah.
Oh my God, one more than we thought he was going to make, right?
Yeah. It's funny. I didn't really expect him to do much today. I kind of from the beginning thought it would be something kind of little, maybe like I thought it would be something like the Gus trade, like it was just like for a pick or like a late round pick, something like that. But yeah, it's exciting having you in here. How you doing?
I'm okay. So we just finished a 2-hour show. We had a bunch of different guests on. We had somebody from a Rangers podcast on, somebody from a Bruins podcast, and the whole time I'm thinking is like, I'm so jealous of these two because they're having fun. They're having fun watching their favorite team, make moves and get better. Like if you were the Rangers, you have guys like Adam Fox, you have guys like Panarin to watch, Zibanejad, like fun players to watch. And then if you're the Bruins, you have that perfection line, and then you have a shiny new toy in Taylor Hall. Your GM makes a move to help out your defense corps a little bit. And it's like, man, like it must be nice to watch teams and organizations that, actively try to improve each year. And, we're just stuck with a 7th round pick for Eric Gustafson. And, don't get me wrong, I love Scott Laughton, my favorite player on the roster. But, I wasn't excited when I saw, what was it, 5 years? Did you guys talk about this already?
5 years. We can talk about it again. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
your thoughts on the entire thing.
I wasn't excited for it, but it's, it's like, okay, Scott Laughton's going to be back for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's just everything that this year, because this isn't the conversation we all wanted to have. This isn't the talks we wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about, well, who are they going to get to bolster the roster to go deep into the playoffs again? Like, that's what we wanted to talk about again. Not, well, what's going to happen in the offseason now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think because no one expected them to be this bad.
Yep.
And to be, they're on the outside looking in. They should be at the top, not where they are right now.
I was just talking to Alex, and he mentioned that in his 24, 25 years of watching the team, he's never seen, the entire all the young players on the team have seemingly regressed at the same time in one season. He mentioned, do you remember like when they had Richards, Carter, I don't know why some of the names are escaping me now, Umberger, guys like that. It would be one player like a JVR who would have a down year, but the other guys would be playing well still. This year, it's like, you have Farabee playing well, but everyone else is kind of like, took a step back. Provorov, Sanheim, Myers, even Carter Hart. You expected maybe one or two guys to have a down year, but not all of them.
Raffle to the Caps. Oh, last minute trade. We got Michael Raffle to the Capitals. I broke that trade too.
Ooh.
I got to refresh this. Yep, the Caps are getting Michael Raffle from the Philadelphia
I need
Flyers.
to stop making thumbnails. I've already made Jim. You don't understand. I made a thumbnail after the Lawton signing. I made another one after the Gus signing. Like a one with the boat. Now I have to make another one because Raffle just got traded.
And we also got another trade alert saying that Carolina is trading Hayden Fleury, waiting to confirm where, from Pierre LeBrun.
Oh, wow. I wonder who they're going to get. That's a big piece for them.
A while. Sheesh.
Hey, so, he got rid of two UFAs, Raffle and Gus. It's hard to be angry at that. If he was just going to stand pat, that'd be one thing.
Yeah, Larry, we're currently waiting on for who, but right now it's only Raffle to the Capitals. We don't know who for who yet.
That would be. I think that could get them a fourth.
Never know. Washington gives up a first round pick for Michael Raffle.
That's a good team for Raffle to go to. I think it's going to help those guys out. I could see him there.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a good team for him to move up. And like Washington, I feel like I know last year they had their problems. Like, I think the majority of that was due to their head coach, but the way they're playing right now with Peter Laviolette, and we all know Peter Laviolette, he always brings that extra spark to a team in his first year, like what he did with the Flyers in 2010 and with the Predators when in his first couple of years as a head coach. So I guess Washington is a team I always root for because of Ovechkin. So Washington makes the playoffs. I guess I'll root for Washington once again to see Ovechkin hopefully lift another cup. Just so hopefully the Penguins don't win another cup. Because, that's a high possibility that the Penguins could win another cup, and I'll be really irate if that happens.
I'm sad. I like Raffle.
I like him too.
I've always liked Raffle. That sucks. And to see him in a Caps jersey is going to be so weird.
Hayden Fleury to Anaheim. That's where he's going.
Interesting.
Anaheim, okay.
That's odd. Nothing's coming back?
No, nothing right now. They're just saying Hayden Fleury is to Anaheim. We don't know for who.
Does this mean the Flyers are booking Legzinski then?
I wonder if it could be for Manson, for Hayden Fleury. Because I know Manson was on the block for Anaheim. And
he's going to first for Manson and 50% retained?
Maybe. That's just my thought process there, because I know Manson and Carolina, they're a team they're looking to win the cup this year. So getting Manson, a bona fide defenseman, that's been good in the league. So definitely helps bolster the defensive core. And for Anaheim, they get a young defenseman in return.
Carolina's going for it, man. When they come back into the division, they're going to be a scary team to play against.
They definitely are.
They're going to be back next year.
The only thing that I'm a little concerned about with them is the goaltending, but I think that can be solved though.
Well, they got that kid playing up this year. Nedeljkovic is having himself.
He's having a really good year.
I have to double check, but last I looked, I could have swore he had a 1.98 goals against average, which
he's up there.
Maybe says more to how the team's playing, but he's been playing very well.
Yeah, he's been playing really good for them.
So they could have something there.
So that probably explains why Chuck Fletcher is late to his press conference. Because he's still making the moves.
Yeah. No wonder why he's late.
Raffle to Caps.
I wonder what they got.
Still waiting to see where the return is. But
if it's another 7th, come on.
It can't be a 7. No way.
Yeah.
Raffle had 3 times more of the value than Gus. And I think it was on a cheaper deal, money-wise.
Yeah. I hope, man. He really waited to the last second to pull that trigger. Wasn't he the one that made the Simmons trade also? He was here for the Simmons.
Yeah, for Hartman,
For Hartman at the last second.
That was late too.
Yep.
That was around like 3:30. That was when they waited like all day for, and then it came out as like a fourth. It was like Hartman in a fourth.
Do you guys trust Chuck?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of put in a bad spot, and I don't mean like by anybody else. I just mean like by the way that the team. I don't think anybody no one expected the team to be like this. So I think he's kind of like.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chris. It's a 5th rounder for Raffle.
Fifth. That's not bad. Just a 5th.
Yeah, just a 5th rounder.
That's not bad at all. I still can't find it, but
yeah, I just got the update from I just literally saw it on my damn phone. Yeah. Craig Custon said, I just saw that from The Athletic.
Yeah, there you go. Someone in this group chat said we got Chara. It's yeah, I mean, listen, I like that sucks, man. I like Raffle, but again, I think it was one of those, and it's funny. I was talking to Bill Meltzer earlier. He called it. I'm going to read it here. If I could scroll all the way up and try to find it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. He said, "I think they do something minor today, like Raffle goes for a fifth pick or some such."
Called it.
Yep, he called it. He definitely did.
Yeah, that's cool. It opens up a spot, for a guy like Lazinski. Maybe they get out. Allison's already been called up, right? He's just been waiting to get in the lineup.
Yeah, I think he's on the taxi squad still.
Mm-hmm. And Lazinski, obviously played yesterday, so
yeah, opens up a spot.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think Raffle was getting signed anyway this year. He was pending UFA, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah, so they got a couple late picks.
Yeah. So, Jim, I want to get your thoughts on just, I guess. You're like we all know, like with the fan base right now, like the misconnection right now between the team and the fan base, and just like how it's like understandably so impatient that the fan base is in right now. Just like, what are your entire thoughts on just this entire season, on how of a nightmare it's been, and just what do you think this team needs to do to get better next year?
It's really interesting. So, beginning of the season, I think we were all a little bit excited. We were kind of riding high off the way last regular season finished, and we were calling the bubble a fluke and whatnot, right? The team looked really weird. They didn't look like they did during the regular season, but, it was a weird time last year, and it's still a weird time this year. So, beginning of the season, I had high hopes, high expectations, and almost instantly you could see that they were still the same team as they were in the bubble, at least for me. So, I started setting up deadlines. Okay, well, if they don't look like the same team, through 10 games, through 15 games, then I'll give them 20. And, it went to 20, 25, 30 games in, and they still looked like, they were a little bit lost out there. I kind of gave up on this season. And if you're listening to Chuck Fletcher, he's pretty quick with the excuses. It's almost, we know it's a COVID year, so you don't need to sell us on that. We know it's a flat cap year. We know it's an expansion draft year. We know there's all these things coming up. But you're the general manager. You get paid to make the right decisions. And in my opinion, he dropped the ball from day one on this year by, signing Eric Gustafson. You see it now. You saw it today. He admitted his mistake, trading him for a 2022 7th-round pick.
Just to add to that, that was a bad signing.
Oh, yeah. And he took on half of his remaining salary, so that's him, covering his track there. Yeah, man, I think to not bring in a vet to pair with Provorov, Sanheim, and kind of just tossing Myers and Sanheim out there together, and in a year like this, if it was a regular 82 game season with no COVID, it'd be a different story, I think. Then you could put a little bit more responsibility on the players, because ultimately, they're NHL players. They've been playing the game their whole life. It's up to them to adjust and play the game. In a year like this, it's up to Chuck to put the right players out with, put the right mix of players together. Go get guys who have been around the block. I know Niskanen retiring was unforeseen.
But he did say he knew about that.
He didn't know. He knew from the day that they were eliminated, he knew. I just think it was
that hard to get a guy, because honestly, to me, I think the only guy that would have came in and fixed what, or not fixed, but brought what Niskanen had was Petrangelo. Like, I don't think Krug was going to do it. And they didn't have the money either, which was an issue because those guys were getting a lot of money and they were going to get paid by the top teams that were out in the running for them. I think Brody could have worked. I don't know if you remember, but Brody was up there and he got the no movement clause from Toronto, and that was like, well, that's that. So I think it was just he was kind of put in a tough spot. And then it's weird because I think a lot of people think that I was saying this to Amedeo earlier, like a lot of people think that they signed Braun just to like as like a panic move. I think that was just like they did that before, but they just didn't announce it. Like they knew Braun was going to get.
I like that signing originally. Braun didn't look like himself. I mean, none of the Flyers really looked like themselves at the beginning of the year, but as the season's progressed, Braun's gotten better.
He's been one of the most consistent D, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's the most that you can ask for from a veteran guy paired with younger players. You want your younger players to play with a consistent player. You don't want a guy, and I know there's a lot of Ghost fans out there, so don't take this the wrong way. But Ghost he's either very good or very bad. You don't want to pair up, one of your younger players with a guy like that. You want to pair him up with somebody who's stable and consistent. And, besides Justin Braun, who I don't think that you want playing on your top pairing, they don't really have that on the back end.
And I think that goes into terms with a guy like Travis Sanheim, too, because that pairing of him and Myers this year have just been just a complete nightmare.
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
like the way you talk about how they just regressed this year. But when I see Sanheim play with a guy like Justin Braun, like Sanheim actually played a little bit better than he has been with Sanheim when Braun was on his pairing. And that's what also makes me come to believe that maybe you go into the offseason, maybe you try to go out because Provorov, he needs a guy to play with. He needs that guy like Matt Niskanen to where he's always going to be there. He's going to be that consistent pairing. I think Sanheim needs that same exact type of player. I think he can't be paired with Myers anymore just because of the way the season went.
Yeah, until Myers grows into that role, which we're seeing with defensemen, guys. Like we've known, people have told us like, oh, defensemen have to grow into the role. They have to grow into the role. And these guys have been in the league for 2, 3, 4 years now. I think, is this Myers' second full season or third?
This is his second full season, I would say.
Second full season. Like, how can we expect him to be a top 4 defenseman in his second full season in the NHL? That's a lot. That's a big ask. And Travis Sanheim's not even, solidified himself as a consistent NHLer yet. That's like that. We should have seen that coming, and Provorov doesn't have a guy to pair up with. I mean, the defense corps is in shambles. They have the pieces where they can put it back together quickly, but the moves that Chuck makes, they need to be the right moves. Like Provorov's had a different defense partner 3 years in a row. That's your top pair D. Like, do him a favor and get somebody for him.
And consistently, he played with the same guy all year last year, which was Niskanen. He's played with 5 defensemen: Braun, Sanheim, Myers.
How frustrating? You could see he's visibly frustrated. Like they're not. This kid's playing 24, 25 minutes a night, and they're not helping him out any by playing.
He's getting overplayed.
Yeah,
he's playing. I think since he came into the league, he averaged 20 minutes.
Yes,
in the 16-17 season, and then progressively went up like 2.5 to 3 minutes each year. And right now, I think is at like 28. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I know he hasn't looked his best, but again, he's getting overplayed. I just don't understand how losing one guy means that you're that bad. Like, it's the same system as last year. It's the same system. I mean, obviously it didn't work in the playoffs because it was predictable, and I still think it is predictable. But still, I just I love how we get the comments of the Chucky 2 trades. I get it all the time.
Chucky 2 trades.
One of them just came up. But anyway, as I was saying, like I just don't understand how they're that bad. I mean, like, for instance, the penalty kill. Oh my God. It's like it was like from here to here. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's what, 29th, 30th?
Yeah, how does that happen? Like they played well last season, didn't they?
Yeah. They were, I think, top 10 in the PK.
I mean, the only guy they lost 2 if you consider Pitlick there, because didn't he play some PK minutes or am I not remembering correctly?
He did.
Yeah, Pitlick
had him at Grant at times.
Yeah. So Niskanen was back there. I mean, those are 2, good players on your PK units, but I just have a hard time believing 2 guys can.
We're getting some more last minute trades at the same time, like while you guys are talking. So the Hayden Fleury trade, he goes to the Ducks for a 6th round pick in Yanni Hakanpää. So
Wow.
that goes that way for the Hurricanes. I saw Jordy Brennan got traded from Vancouver to the Jets. And I think that was for the
that too.
6th round pick.
Mantha's going to the Capitals
For
for Verana and I forget what he just said. Kevin Weeks reported it.
So Kevin Weeks report. So Anthony Mantha to the Washington Capitals for Verana and something else. And
That's
we
a
also
big one.
Chicago trading Madison Bowie to Vancouver. They get a 5th round pick. Madison Bowie and a 5th round pick from Chicago for a 2021 4th round pick.
Wow.
So Madison Bowie goes to the Canucks.
Wow, Verana.
And I'm trying to see.
Mantha's a good one.
I'm trying to see this Mantha trade because it's not popping up on Twitter yet.
That's a
Wow.
surprising trade for me. I liked Verana.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Detroit has traded Anthony Mantha. Blockbuster involving Mantha and Verana.
Now we got to face Mantha this week.
Kevin Weeks right here. Hearing Detroit is trading Mantha to the Capitals for Panic, Verana, and more.
Wow.
Ponic too?
Yeah, that's what Kevin Weeks just reported.
Wow. That is insane.
Yeah,
That's bigger than the Hall trade, in my opinion.
that could be.
It's up there.
Yeah. So, what would you think they would also get from the Capitals from Mantha since they're already getting Panic and Verana? So, what do you think? That is
Oh my god.
like that's
Yeah,
like
I have no
these
idea.
these last minute trades, man. Like some of them are just big.
That's
Oh
Steve
my God.
Yzerman for you, buddy.
That is Steve Yzerman.
You're gonna milk you for everything you got.
Yep.
I saw your tweet on that. It was like Fletcher doing trades with Eiserman is not something I want to think about.
No.
Yeah, if there's one thing we're grateful for today, it's that Chuck Fletcher did not trade with the Red Wings.
Yeah. Yes. So teams that are going all in, you got Boston getting Taylor Hall. You get the Caps getting now Anthony Mantha. They just got Michael Raffle. What other teams are we looking at? Toronto, they got Riddick. Because how long is it going to take for Anderson to return? Because how much longer is he out? Is he still out for playoffs at least?
They got 2 veterans out again. Oh my god. They had Lundqvist out, and now they got Anderson out too.
No, I'm talking about Toronto with Frederick Anderson. Like how much longer is he out
I
since
think Craig Anderson, my
they
bad.
have Campbell and now Riddick? So how long is Anderson expected out for?
I saw that he's it's not known when he's going to come back. I heard he's got some mental things going on there.
Fletcher's trade going to be on. I mean, his press conference.
Right now, he still hasn't said anything in his press conference.
No, I mean, is it going to be on?
I couldn't tell you that, Dad.
Still
So-
talking trade.
Yeah, Fletcher still has not shown up at his press conference. So who knows? Maybe there's another trade that he's working on.
Board checks out it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, what if
Imagine
you guys were the
PBR.
GMs? What kind of what would be the one if you could have just one move? What would it be?
Oof. I'll let you start. You start with Chris because I got
in a perfect world with
Yeah,
no-
really.
like
Larry McDavid.
we got Larry Sam
nice.
McDavid.
Yeah.
if there was no like, oh my god, I can't even look at that. I can't even read that Niskanen comment. I want to vomit.
We know Valenti Niskanen's a good defense, but not a top 2.
That's terrible. If I were to make a trade if cap space didn't matter, if getting rid of guys didn't matter, if it was just all in, I would trade for Draisaitl. I don't know what I would give up if no matter what team. Like if I was the Flyers, I would go in for Draisaitl. Like McDavid is one, but I just can't see a team like getting rid of him. I just can't see the Oilers bargaining with McDavid. I think you could say the same about Draisaitl too. But like if I was a GM, I would love Draisaitl.
Sell the farm for him. Get everything.
Ugh.
See, I'm jealous of so many teams, man, because like a team like the Oilers, I'm not sure if they're ever going to win the cup as is right now. I think they need more pieces, but at least they get to watch Draisaitl and McDavid every night. Are you kidding me? And then you have teams like the Caps who are seemingly in it every year. The Bruins are in it every year.
The Carolina Hurricanes, they're young and exciting.
Oh my God, the Hurricanes are so much fun to watch. And you
Florida
have
is good too.
Tampa Bay.
or you could, like, I think I'm going to move to Florida and start watching hockey down there. Like the
The
weather's
Minnesota Wild became a fun team to watch.
Yeah, after Fletcher left. So it's like, holy crap. Like, are we going through that now?
And they got Kaprizov, who wasn't he a Fletcher pick? Was Kaprizov a Fletcher pick?
He may have been, yeah, and he didn't come over for a couple years.
So maybe Fletcher has that luck in the 5th round. We don't know yet, but we're going to have to wait probably like 5 years.
Hey, he did pretty well last year with Wisdom and Forster.
Yeah, they look good in the Phantoms. They definitely do.
I forget if it's I know they get angry if you mix them up. The Swedish kid or the Finnish kid they drafted, I think, in the 2nd round.
Is it Hogberg or is it? Oh, yeah, it's
Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah, even he was a decent pick. He did well, I thought, last year. So it surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like with the last 2 drafts, they've gone defenseman forward in the 1st round. Like they go defenseman with York, forward Forster, and then they go defenseman in the 2nd round. Then they went forward in the 2nd round, 19 with Brink. I wonder if they do that again. They go defenseman this year or what? But it's funny. I just opened Instagram now. There's a bunch of Gus memes of how Gus is gone now.
Yeah, like going off your point right there, Jim, like talking about like all these other teams have like these young, these exciting top tier end players. Like yesterday watching the Phillies game, like Sunday Night Baseball, watching just that entire Phillies series against the Braves, and you see Ronald Acuna doing his damn thing, just taking over the game, just being that electric thing. And like me and my dad look at each other, it's just like, man, why can't any Philadelphia team have a guy of that caliber? I know the Sixers, they have Embiid, and he's a very fun to watch. The Phillies, yes, the Alec Boehm, he's a really nice piece, and I think he's going to be a stud for the future. They have Bryce Harper too, but the Eagles, they're a whole mess. I don't want to talk about them. But the Flyers just, I know Claude Giroux when he came up, yes, he was very fun. He was electric. He was a fun player to watch.
Was he safe? Amedeo, was he safe? Was Boehm safe?
Alec Boehm was not safe. No. So just like to your point, like when was the last time the Flyers had just a guy that comes in and is like, Carter Hart, I feel like he's the exception, even though he's having a down year. Carter Hart, I feel like he's gonna be great in the long run, but just that guy that comes in, he's young, he's homegrown talent, and he becomes a stud from day one. When was the last time any Philadelphia team had that?
You know what? And you guys, I don't know if you guys are going to like this answer or not, but I attribute a lot of that to Ron Hextall. And not necessarily in a bad way, but
I feel you too on that. I feel like Hextall,
it was his draft philosophy.
And I feel like, because I feel like some other people are going to admit it at the same time, I feel like Ed Snyder was part of the problem as well, because he was a guy that was never going to accept a rebuild.
Sure.
If he saw a rebuild, nowhere near it. And
that's why we're in this period. That's why this last decade was like this. Because so everybody upstairs wanted them to keep going. Try to make the playoffs every year, and
because
work when you're not
going to get those top tier guys that are studs in the 15th overall pick, the 25th overall pick. Like, yeah, you got Provorov with the 7th overall pick. You got lucky getting that 2nd overall pick with Patrick, but right now it just hasn't panned out the way you expected it to be. But
sometimes that can change, though. I mean, Pasternak was 25th overall.
But that's like a once-in-a-blue moon type of thing.
Yeah, right. But, like, when was the last time the Flyers were really in position to get a pick like that?
Never. They never were.
Yeah. I mean, the Patrick draft with Heischer, that was arguably the weakest draft since, 2012?
Yeah.
With Yakupov and Galchenyuk.
And, like, yeah, you can't blame Hextall, because Patrick going into that draft was the notorious number 1 overall pick, and he fell to the Flyers. So, like, yeah, you're going to take it, but it just sucks to, like, you see guys like Heiskanen come out. You see guys like, I know Pettersson wasn't expected to go 5th overall, but you see him, you see Makar come out of there. Like, I hate using hindsight. I hate that with a passion, but it just sucks that you see those guys, but then you see Patrick, like, just like taking, just like not, I guess, playing up to the expectations that we have him for, at least.
For me, hindsight is kind of what we do. It's kind of, we talk and we judge how some of these guys do. And heck, don't get me wrong, 3/4 of this roster is because of Hextall. Whether you like some of the moves or not. A lot of his draft picks hit, but his whole thing was built from the net out, which is great. But when it came to forwards, he would draft the safe pick, the safe guy, a guy that he had maybe a high floor, and a high ceiling, as opposed to a boom or bust guy. He didn't take any shots on offensive players. He went with the.
He did
safe
sometimes,
picks.
but it wasn't like crazy. Like Rubtsov was one,
right?
And that didn't hit. LeBurge was one that didn't hit.
Right.
Jay O'Brien right now, it's not looking like it's going to be a hit, but
I mean,
it's crazy. Everybody like harps on O'Brien, and I just think like like some guys just need more time. I mean, like you're 18, 19, 20 years old. You're not at your the peak years of your development there. I think some guys just need more time. I mean, like we were just talking about Kaprizov. He's what, 24, 23, and he's finally in the NHL.
But I mean, like from his standpoint, like with KHL contracts, those are like really hard to negotiate. So he was probably stuck in the KHL because of his contract situation, and I think that's one of the reasons why he never came over so early. But like, yeah, that's like also an understandable point. Like, yeah, some people definitely do need time to develop properly. Yeah, Sean Couturier is definitely an obvious choice there because of he was always thought to be that really good defensive forward. We saw that when he first came up, the way he shut down guys like Malkin, shut down guys like Crosby in his first season. We saw that potential. And there was also that potential for him to be that offensive type of guy, that good two-way Selke type of forward. And then he finally got the chance to play on the first line with Claude Giroux. And then there you go. He was a Selke nominee in that first year. But I think like right now, I know like some people, like they're just getting into the point where they're getting a little bit impatient and they're tired of waiting. That's where Flyers fans are at right now.
Yeah, but again, everybody is annoyed because this isn't what's supposed to be happening this year. That's why we're all angry. And that's why I think Jim's the perfect person for this because just, just everything.
It is what it is.
Your show. And yeah.
If I'm mad, I'm going to let you know. And
right, exactly.
I mean, you got Amedeo, your dad's near. I mean, your dad grew up, I imagine, when the Flyers, maybe won the cup or when they were in the, they were in the thick of things every single season.
It's the same with my dad too.
A different era, I mean, I get like the cap and everything changed the way the game is, rosters are built and whatnot. But guys, we're looking at the Bruins. They go for it every year. They're getting Taylor Hall somehow this year for a second round pick.
Penguins, they go for it every year. We're the only team that's got to rebuild through draft picks and wait for them all to, be 24, 25 years old before we add pieces to the roster. Like, no, that's not how it works. Last year, things were new. Everything was fresh. New coach, new system. Let's give them a shot before we start busting their balls or whatever. And they played well from it.
Played very, very well. Things came together, in my opinion, as they should. Throughout the course of the year, the team just kept getting better and better. You remember the 9-game winning streak? It was like, wow, this they're never going to lose again. Unfortunately, COVID cut all that momentum off. They get to the bubble, completely different team. And for me,
they look fine. Like they look fine in the bubble.
I started to worry a little bit. Yeah.
Game 1 versus Montreal, I was worried. I thought they'd come out and really hit them, and they didn't. I'm like, all right. I said, okay, give it a game or two. Well, then they get smoked in game 2. It's like, uh-oh.
Yep.
And then they win both games in 3 and 4, and they didn't win them like promising. Like it seemed like they kind of sat back. And then game 5 was probably the best hockey game of that series. It was back and forth. It was just. It was a close game, and it had some exciting moments, and then they scored to tie it, and then gave up the lead like 20 seconds later.
Here's the full details on the Mantha to Washington trade. So Pierre LeBrun says the deal is believed to be Verana, Panic, first-round pick, and a second-round pick in exchange for Mantha.
Wow, that's significant.
That's probably the biggest trade of the day.
I don't want to trade with Steve Yzerman ever because he will absolutely win trades.
Yeah, there's no way that's an overpay either.
No, Verana's a very good player.
A first and second. Oh my God, for Mantha.
Yeah,
that's perfect. I think that's exactly what Mantha is worth. Again, Mantha's really good. He's just on a really, really bad team in the Red Wings.
That's going to be interesting.
Kind of the same with Bertuzzi and Larkin too. Those are I would love Bertuzzi in a Flyers uniform.
Yeah, he'd be fun.
Yeah, Chris, I know with you grew up, you started liking the Flyers like probably at the worst time possible. Like
I started watching the last lockout.
The start of the mediocrity.
The start of it, yeah. So I pretty much fell in love with them over the summer from the playoff run, and watching all the things that G did and everything. And I was like, I got to start watching them. And then I kind of I did and I didn't, and then I was kind of like on and off. And then one of my buddies was like, "You want to watch the game?" And we were like, "Yeah." So I put it on, and I didn't know a lot about it, but I'd seen stuff from the playoff run and everything before. Like my dad would watch it and everything, but I didn't really know too much. And then I started watching I think it was January that year because it was a lockout. And they were terrible, but every year on, I watched every game, just kept going. And I remember the 14-15 season. I would say to my dad, I was like, I think they can win a cup this year. And they're one of the worst teams in the league. I was just young, I had no idea how cap works and, how Grossman's playing top 4 and everything. They're just terrible. So, it goes on. And I think just I cried when they beat Montreal last year in the first round. And I know
that's the first time that you see them pass the first round.
It's the first time I've seen them win really anything,
Wow, man. That's so unfortunate because growing up, it was getting past the first round was nothing. All right, we're in the first round. Let's get through this. We're going to conference championship or
Yeah, I'm 22 years old. I don't remember the early 2000s of the team. I was way too young. I remember starting the first year was when they sucked and they lost out in the Patrick Kane lottery, which I'm still pissed at because we got robbed out of that. Then the next year, Holmgren comes in. He replenishes the entire team, signs Briere, Tiemann and Hartnell, all those stuff. They go to the conference finals. Next year, they lose to Pittsburgh. The next year, they go to the finals. They lose it, and just then we go into 2012 Briscoe, all that crap. And then, now we're in mediocrity. So, my younger years, I saw success with this team, and now in my older years, I hate it. Yeah. I absolutely hate it. And my dad, he lived for the Stanley Cup Finals when they won those in 74, 75. He was really young about that. Then the 80s, when they were still a really good team, lost to those dynasty teams and the Islanders and the Oilers. The 90s were a really bad time until Lindros, the Legion of Duke came along, all that crap. But it's been a summary of all of it. It's been a long time.
Well, here's the thing for you guys. You look at this roster here, and then you mentioned Eric Lindros, and those teams, and then you look back at the teams when Mike Richards and Jeff Carter played on those teams. Different kind of player, obviously, but this team is missing both of those. They don't have the star power like the Eric Lindros teams did, and they don't have the hunger, the desire, the will to win, the will to outwork the other team the same way those Richards teams did. And when you don't have skill or desire to be better, you kind of get what we're seeing today, and it's the most boring stuff to watch. And Chris, I got to be honest, dude, I feel bad that this is all that you've been able to see. I mean, yeah, man, this is why I'm so angry, because
it's weird that you say that, because everybody that when I bring up that and make it like it's a bad thing, or I've been like this in 75 or whatever, they all just get pissed because I say it. But no, I mean, I hear you. It sucks. I mean, I still can't believe that it's like this year. I still can't wrap my head around that this team is actually this bad right now, and this is what we're talking about.
Dude, even in 06, 07, I looked forward to watching games because they were entertaining. They at least were fun to watch.
Yeah, they were entertaining, but they were just bad.
Yeah, but this year I have such a hard time
because
I haven't
watching
been
this
for a
team.
game in a long time.
It's brutal hockey to watch just because of how many mistakes they make. Because this team has ability to be better. They don't play like they can. Mm-hmm. They don't play up to their potential.
Yep.
Quick thing, Bobby Stevens, thank you for the $2.99 donation. We appreciate it.
Definitely, we appreciate that.
It means a lot. We appreciate that.
Yeah, born in '88 and fell in love with the Flyers in '94. Oh man, you've been around a while then. I feel bad for you, Dom. Feel bad.
Jamie Baskow just tweeted, "There's another 10-15 minutes for Fletcher."
Oh.
And that was a couple minutes ago, like 4 or 5 minutes ago.
So what now? His press conference not going to be until 4, I'm assuming.
It could be another trade coming.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay.
Johnny
Gaudreau's coming to the Flyers.
Jake. Yo, Patrick to Vegas, anybody?
Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
So,
here's another thing. Like we've got new coaches, new fresh faces behind the bench, and I don't think there's been enough turnover in the room or on the roster to really. So mediocrity kind of breeds more mediocrity. You need guys that haven't been around for the last 5, 6, 7 years to kind of come in and change that. They need to swap some of these guys out, guys that have been around for the losing. And
I think they will, Jim.
Yeah, that's what they kind of. And I'm not saying a fire sale.
No,
just one or two
Shake it up.
faces.
Yeah, shake it up.
That's what I think when he says the right mix of players. You know, that's why I think it's going to be in the offseason, and they're going to kind of wait and just let this play out. You know,
that's what it is.
You can't overreact. You got to just roll with the punches, pretty much.
Yeah, because they have pieces to be successful. It's just they need a.
They need something to.
They need a shake up
and mesh it together.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And that's where it comes to the defenseman. Get a guy to play with Provorov and Sanheim. Maybe you shake up a guy. You get rid of a JVR. You get rid of a Voracek. Get rid of one of those guys, and maybe find a way to fill in that other hole just to bring in a new, different face for the locker room. And who knows? Maybe they need that type of guy who is an asshole in the locker room. Maybe because they have too many nice guys in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Maybe they need that Pronger type of attitude.
An interesting name I thought was Foligno, because I know he just got traded to Toronto, and who knows what's going to happen. But a player like that, just to bring in and shake up the leadership core a little bit, that's all. Just something to shake things up, something different instead of hearing the same old thing from the same old guys.
And again, I don't think it's like there's part of me that really doesn't think, like, I know everybody wants to harp on G and Jake and, because they've been here for so long and they have the letters and everything, and G's the captain and this and that. I think it's just them as a group. Like, I know it might sound weird. Like, I think they have just too many young guys. Mm-hmm. And I know it sounds weird to say because they have a lot of veteran guys that have been here a long time where it doesn't really seem like they've been here for a long time. You know what I mean? But, like, I think that's what it is, and I think that's why they kind of say the right mix of guys. Amedeo, you talked about this on the Flyers and Gritty podcast with Yariv, and me and Jim did one with Yariv before too. That's kind of what I think that's what Fletcher's getting at, is that it's going to, they're probably going to let some of these bigger contracts go with Seattle, would be my guess.
I hope so. It's the perfect opportunity.
Maybe they convince Seattle with a draft pick or hey, maybe take this guy and we'll give you something else. Maybe that's something that you got to convince them to take a guy like a Voracek or a guy like a JVR just to get that cap off this team and use that extra cap space to find another guy, one or two guys to bring in here to just shake up the atmosphere. Because I know there's another team that I like to compare to the Flyers because I feel like they're the Flyers of the Western Conference. That's the Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames are the same exact team as the Philadelphia Flyers. They're a team that has expectations. They've been in a stage of mediocrity for so many years. They're the same team. They make the playoffs. They miss the playoffs. They make the playoffs. They miss the playoffs year after year after year. And now there's rumors about them. They might try to shake up their core as well. So, Jim, I know I was in one of your comment sections when you guys were talking about this, but do you think maybe Chuck Fletcher tries to go after a guy like a Johnny Gaudreau and maybe brings him home? And how do you think that would impact Johnny himself with his play coming home? Does that elevate it, or just how does that impact the team bringing in a hometown guy?
It could. So I have two thoughts here. Like I do with most things, it's Jim's crazy opinion, and then it's like, well, let's see. Bringing a guy like Gaudreau might not be a bad thing. He's a very good hockey player. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Johnny Gaudreau. I'm not overly crazy for his style of play. I think he's a smaller guy. He's kind of like the jitterbug type thing. I'm sure he would be well. He would do well here. He would produce, but not specifically the kind of guy that I would hope that they would get. So it would be exciting, I guess. He went to my same high school as me. Just a little fun fact there. So that would be cool, I guess. So I could tell everybody that every time the Flyers play. It would be fun. it would be a big shakeup, right? He's a star in the league, right? Gaudreau. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it would rejuvenate him a little bit to come back and play for the Flyers. For how long, I don't know.
Because you got to deal because you got him and Couture and Giroux both expire the same exact year.
Oh, do they really? So that would be
Yes.
a little interesting there as well.
Yeah. And then you also have to throw in Carter Hart.
Yeah.
Because Carter Hart comes up this year.
And Sanheim and Patrick.
Yeah, I've been seeing Gaudreau's name come up quite a bit. What do you guys think? Is that something you'd like to see?
I don't think so. I mean, dude, that's been in the rumor mill since I think 2015, 2016. Yeah. Like it's just like recycled garbage. We see it every year.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Gaudreau would be a fit here. I don't think he would work out at all. I think they already have guys like Gaudreau. I honestly think there's part of me that honestly feels like TK is a carbon copy of Gaudreau. That's just right-handed. And I'm serious about that. I think there's just I think everybody says it because he's from the area. He says he'd love to be a Flyer and end his career as a Flyer and everything, and it just gets in everybody's head. And I just don't think that's in the Flyers' plans. I don't think it would work out, and I don't even know what they'd have to give up for that. Because if you're trying to give up something for Gaudreau, you're giving up a lot, and I don't know what Calgary would want back or what even they think would be somewhat okay to take back, and I just don't think that's in any of the Flyers' plans.
I personally love Johnny Gaudreau. I just think
I like Gaudreau as a player. I just don't think
I like the aspect of a hometown kid coming home. I just feel like he comes back to the Flyers and maybe, hey, he knows the city, he knows the fan base, he's going to love to play for the fan base, and I feel like just being home is going to elevate his game. It's the team he grew up watching. It's the team he grew up cheering for. I feel like that aspect will maybe bring his game to a different level, and that's why I feel like Johnny Gaudreau would work out really well in Philadelphia. But also, there's standpoint, you never know. You never know what could happen.
No, maybe you're right. I was going to call him a pass first player, but looking at his stats here, I mean, he could put the puck in the net. 24, 30 goals, 24 goals, 36 goals, almost 100-point season 2 years ago. So,
I guess you can find some chemistry because he did play with Kevin Hayes at Boston College. So maybe there's some connection there as well. But
best friends. Yeah, there you go. Some chemistry. If you need help changing the locker room, it's easy when you bring in a guy's buddy. Interesting.
It seems like a lot of people are upset about Raffle. And I think it makes sense because Raffle's always been a guy that's loved by the fans. Like from the minute I think he got here, he's been someone that everybody's loved. But I think it makes perfect sense for him to get moved. Like I know we talked about this before, but like and not even just for the Flyers, like for Washington too. It's a center who can, or it's a winger who can play center, who they literally formed into a center and can take faceoffs. Can play PK. He helps out the locker room. And yeah, exactly. Larry Fine, he was the locker room guy. Exactly. I think for the most part, like Raffle, it opens up a spot for Lagzinski or Allison. And I know we talked about it before. It just makes me think, I wonder if they use both because Lagzinski's already up here. So maybe they chuck in Allison. I don't know. But I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts. I wonder if Allison plays the next game tomorrow.
Possibility.
They got Washington tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Dude, I'm so out of sync. I don't even remember their schedule anymore.
Yeah, I think they're on the road for the next. I think it's Washington and Pittsburgh this week, Tuesday, Thursday, both on the road.
So they get Jeff Carter Thursday, and then they get Raffle and Mantha tomorrow, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, would Mantha have to quarantine for a couple of days?
I think some of them. I think they do. I think it's 10 days.
Yeah, Raffle might not have to since he's in the same division. So maybe there's like an aspect there, but I would assume Mantha has to quarantine and Jeff Carter has to quarantine for like those 7 days.
I don't know if division would make sense because they're going to different states.
That's also true.
Because even in the Riddick situation, he has to do it for 7 days, and he's going from Calgary to Toronto. They're in the same country.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't see how that would make sense if that's in the United States. I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's tough. You know what? I'm going to get your guys' thoughts on this. Do you think that there's any way that they have like this like huge like package trade in the summer? Or is it like this big thing, like a 1-for-1?
I'm hopeful that it's a package type thing. I think if it's a 1-for-1, it's kind of more like, okay, we're going to swap our problem for your problem. You know what I mean? Let's give both guys a fresh start. Whereas I want to see them kind of go out. I want to see Chuck Fletcher really put his print on the roster. I want him to have a guy in mind, and I want to see him go get him. Pay whatever you got to pay to go get him, and that's it. And let's move on. And for me, that guy, you guys might think I'm a little nuts because I know he's hurt, injury prone. But for me, that guy's Ryan Ellis right now. I don't think I trust Chuck Fletcher to go out and sign somebody because I think he's going to overpay, and I don't want that. Ryan Ellis, I believe, is signed for 5 more years, $6.25 million.
Ellis would be perfect.
30 years old.
At 30 years old.
Yeah.
For the way he plays to complement Provorov. Oh my God.
I feel like a lot of people would compare that to like a Tiemann type of trade.
Yeah, and that's my guy.
Perfect.
I think even your buddy Bill Meltzer, I think, even put something about Ellis out, which I was surprised because usually I don't think that he usually names specific players like that. So if they can go out and get a Ryan Ellis, I think that would be the perfect complement for Provorov. He's here for extended period of time. It's not a 1 or 2 year move. And then you can go out and sign one of these UFAs to pair with Sanheim on your second line, and maybe Myers works his way up, or maybe he's included in the trade. I don't know.
Yeah, they could be. I think the thing is could they move Myers to get a guy like Ellis or Ekholm?
It's a possibility.
I mean, they could move him in the deal. Mm-hmm. I don't think they want to lose Sanheim. I don't. I think Sanheim has a higher ceiling than Myers, at least as of right now of what he's shown. Compared to Myers, it's been a lot better. I don't know, though. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they're going to make one of those moves where it's like years ago with the Hall and Larson and the Subban for Weber. It's going to be something like that, like one of those crazy ones that nobody expected. And they're going to come at like the weirdest time. Well, not really the weirdest time. That was for agency day. But I know everything is messed up this year with the COVID and the dates and all that stuff. It might come at the draft. That could be something. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I just hope we see something. I just want to have fun again.
You
know? Like,
because as I said, like this isn't what this year's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be talking about this.
This year was supposed to be fun. We were supposed to be competitive. We were supposed to be competing for a Stanley Cup, but no, back to typical Flyers. So, Jim, I'm not sure if you have any more time left, but I want to get your thoughts on like what did the Flyers do with the expansion draft? And honestly, what do you think about the backup situation for next year? Do they re-sign Elliott? Do they go after a veteran guy in the offseason? Like, what do you think with the expansion? All that.
For Elliott, every single year, I'm like, you know what? Go out and get another guy. Go out and get another guy. And they just keep bringing him back, and he plays well. He's been playing okay.
Yeah.
I think even AV said it when he's been able to, get proper rest. He's played very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this will be the year that I say, go ahead and re-sign him for 1 year. Or, they should have some of these kids starting to come up in the wings a little bit back here in what the heck's his name now? Sandstrom, Ustimenko. Yeah, they should have some of these guys starting to make some noise down with the Phantoms.
They got that Fedotov kid that's playing over in Russia.
Yeah, and even that Swedish kid, I can't remember his name.
Urson. Yeah, he's been really good for them.
Yeah, they got a bunch of these guys. So
Urson's good. He's just on a bad team.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I talk about it with Alexander Alpiar all the time. Like Brinas over there, they are atrocious at defense. I mean, I watch some of the streams that he'll send me, and they are terrible. I mean, there's like this guy is left out I mean like Carter Hart left out to dry this year. Like that's how bad it is. It's like our defense this year is every year for them. It's like so, and some of it could be even worse. I don't know if the Flyers are going to re-sign Moose, to be honest with you. I think there might be a possibility Moose retires. I think he definitely still wants to go for a cup, for sure. So that could be out of the way, retiring. I don't know. I think I like Fedotov because he's 6'7" and he's huge and already takes up half the net.
Yeah.
So that could be a possibility. I don't know about Lyon because I don't think the Flyers are going to re-sign him. I said before the Flyers re-sign him, I think Lyon could be a decent backup on a bad team. So
it's like
that could be something.
Neil Little.
Yeah.
Lyon's like the Neil Little.
Yeah.
This day and age is Neil Little.
Mhm.
It could
I
be
was also
something, yeah.
because Jonathan Bernier was a guy that was always in the talks about like just like going around places like, and honestly he hasn't played that bad for Detroit, for is a horrendous team. He's put up pretty good stats for him. I was gonna think about like do you maybe consider a guy like a Bernier maybe an option for a backup for Carter Hart, because Bernier's been in that situation before. I'm sure he's not like pushing to be a starter somewhere. Like, what would you think about that? Or do you like more just like, okay, just let the younger goaltenders try to make their way for a backup role?
I think that kind of proves Chris's point a little bit there with him thinking that Elliott could retire and move on, because maybe it's possible that he already let management know that, hey, this might be my last year in Philly. And that could be why we've heard, rumors of Chuck looking for a goalie. I mean, as fans, you hear that and it's like, why the hell is he looking for a goalie? We have Elliott and Hart. But, it would make sense if Elliott already informed them that this is probably it for him. So they're looking, covering their butts before next season comes around.
Yeah. One thing here that just came out from David Pagnotta, he said he's told that there were legit talks between the Ducks and the Knights on Ryan Getzlaf, who seemed willing to go to Vegas if a deal could be worked out. The asking price, however, didn't jive with the Knights. Another tweet here, Ducks GM Bob Murray says he spoke with Captain Ryan Getzlaf about trading him, but Getzlaf only wanted to move if Anaheim could get something significant in return to help the franchise, quote unquote, and it wasn't there. He's all about the organization, whatever is best for us. So that could have been something, because Vegas could have seriously added to that group. I mean, that would literally be insane if they had Getzlaf, Stone, Pacioretty, Pietrangelo, Theodore, Martinez, Fleury, Leonard. Oh my God, I could go on and on.
Now Fletcher's not expected to talk until 420.
He might be doing something else, to be honest with you. That's why I'm so afraid to make this thumbnail again, because I feel like he's just going to do something. I seriously feel like he's gonna make another trade.
Oh God!
As far as the expansion draft, Amedeo, I'm not really sure. I mean, you guys know Fletcher's track record with Minnesota when the Knights came around, and doesn't look
I don't
that
think he
good.
wants to lose another guy like Alex Tuck.
No,
and that's kind of why I think that he re-signed Lawton too.
Yeah,
they don't want to lose Lawton.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of not as confident as I was about Chuck last year. Last year, he had the perfect first year. This year, it's like the complete opposite. So I'm a little bit uneasy. I'm not hopefully he learned something from the last expansion draft. That's kind of how
because you expect for the protection wise for the Flyers, it's going to be the 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, 1 goaltender. You already know your 4 protections at this point after signing Lawton to that contract. You got to protect Giroux and Hayes because of their no-limit clauses. Got to protect Couturier because he's your first-line center. And now you got to protect Lawton because you extended him. So you got 3 other guys there. You would assume Konechny's the guy that's going to get protected. I think Patrick has to be protected. And a guy like Lindblom has to be protected. So that leaves got forwards off the board, guys like Voracek, guys like JVR, and whoever. I think Albert Kubel is a guy that's going to be on the board for Seattle. Then you look at the defensemen. You got most likely it's Provorov, Sanheim, Myers. Those are the expectations. So you leave Ghost on the board, you leave Braun on the board, you leave Haig on the board, Morin on the board, and then for goaltenders, it's obviously Carter Hart. So
I mean, I know who I hope that they take, but who do I honestly think that they take? I could see them. Albert Kubel didn't have as good a year as he did last year. If he could have repeated his success, I could see them, taking Albert Kubel and filling in, bottom 6 line for him or whatever. I don't know. I often ask myself, why would another team want Jake Voracek for 4 or 5 years? It's like you can have JVR for the same price, but and less years, and he's not as I don't want to say opinionated or whatever, but I don't know. It's kind of like take your pick. Do you want JVR or do you want Voracek? And for me, I would take JVR just off the contract alone.
Yeah.
But for an expansion team, maybe they want to fill out their roster for the next 4 or 5 years. Ultimately, it's going to be who's going to sell more jerseys.
Probably.
Because it's going to be about money first. I hope what Vegas did is the anomaly as opposed to You know,
I don't know, man. I feel like the NHL, they just want that team to, like, I know Vegas was like, everyone expected them to suck. Then they came out, they were really good. I feel like the NHL, they're just they're like giving these expansion teams like all of these chances to become good right out of the get. I don't think Seattle's going to be as good as Vegas was, but because I don't think there's that like obvious star player like with Fleury when he was the obvious choice to go to Vegas and stuff like that.
Yep.
I don't think there's like that obvious top pick for Seattle to take.
That's true.
In my opinion.
Maybe it's Jake.
Maybe it's Jake. Maybe Voracek becomes the captain.
Yeah, there you go.
Could you imagine?
They'll be moving the team to Quebec in 4 or 5 years.
I would cry. I love Jake, man. I know everybody hates on him, but I love him.
You do? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I got 93 at the end of my game.
Oh my God, I didn't see. Yeah, I dislike Jake a lot. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I didn't realize
not
that.
Just you. It's everybody, man. Everybody
It's gonna
hates
hurt, though.
He doesn't shoot from the hash marks on the power play.
It's gonna happen someday, though. I'm sure. Amedeo, your favorite player's probably been traded at one point. I used to love Mike Richards. Got traded. Anybody I used to like got traded. So it's like, no more favorite players for Jim.
My favorite player growing up for the Flyers was always Gagne. And it did suck seeing him when he went to Tampa Bay. And then, like, I was happy for him when he won the Stanley Cup with Los Angeles. I was like, okay, he's happy. Then they brought him back during the lockout year. So I was just like, okay, let him retire as a Flyer or something like that. And then you got the Briere that came over. You got the Drew that came up. So, like, I was sold on Drew. Yeah, definitely. Like, it was Gagne, Briere, then Drew turned into the favorite player. But
of course.
Did this guy in the chat seriously just say that Lindblom is too expensive?
What?
Did I read that right?
Like, where'd you see that at?
Chuck Fletcher, don't protect Alex Tuck. I'm not sure whether G, by the way, what? I don't.
Here we go.
It doesn't seem like this guy can speak.
Chuck Foot.
I don't protect Lindblom. I love the guy, but too slow. Oh, come on. Come on. Too slow, too expensive. Jesus. That's just, I'm not even going to comment. I already did comment, but that's terrible.
It's been a long 2 hours, Chris, so you're going to see those comments eventually.
I am severely, like, some of these fans, man, I just don't get it. Like, just like, what did you expect the guy to do? You know what I mean?
Chris, like, you should see in the comment sections all the time on my videos. Like, I have one guy yesterday that says you have to blow it up. I'm like,
mine are just as bad, dude. I average like 30 comments, and about 29 of them are negative. Like,
feels good to be negative. Don't forget. That's,
What'd you say?
It makes people feel good to be negative. Don't forget.
Yeah, it does.
You have to remember to take a lot of the comments with a grain of salt sometimes.
Yeah. And like with the Penguins and Jeff Carter, do you think that's more of a Hextall move or a Brian Burke move?
See,
I think Brian Burke has majority of his hands on that than Hextall.
I love Brian Burke, man. I love him.
He wants his good old North American boys.
Oh my God! I wish he was the what's he, president over there?
Yeah, he's president.
I wish he was with the Flyers, dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I imagine Burke, you said something like, yeah, go get a veteran guy that we can put in the second or third line, and Hextall. Oh, I know a guy, and Jeff Carter was the guy.
It was rumored that they used the money from Tanev on LTIR to get Carter.
Oh, there you go.
That's probably what helped.
Using getting the bang for your buck there, using that extra money and
sure.
Yeah. Yes, I think the Brian Burke situation with Pittsburgh, I think it's like the Dave Dombrowski situation with the Phillies. Like the Phillies, they have their GM, but I think Brian Burke is the guy running the show over Hextall right now because, like, technically Pittsburgh's still in the win now mode. They just have Hextall for when eventually Crosby, Malkin.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting. They retire, then Hextall's going to be there to take this team through the rebuilding process once again, and hopefully they move to another city like Kansas City, so they're out of Pittsburgh, but.
No, I want them to stay in Pittsburgh for the Hextall era. I want them to suffer through it.
Watch that. They're not going to suffer though. Like, they're just going to be good every year. He's going to make everything he does is just going to be a total hit.
Yeah,
it's going to be
everything he does, and then he's going to have the luxury. Go away. He's going to have the luxury of actually going to make it
like. He's probably going to make it like his like. It's going to be on his wall, like on his desk, when he walks in to just like with like a big circle around the Flyers logo with a line through it. You know what I mean? Just something like that.
It's a dartboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dartboard.
Oh God.
Well, before we get into too much Hextall talk, boys, because I could say a lot of things about old Ronnie.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna jump off here.
Yeah, definitely.
Had an awesome time hanging out with you boys. We'll have to do this again. Maybe get you guys on HW sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thanks,
That's
Jim.
definitely a long time coming. Thanks, Jim. Have a good day.
Anytime, boys. Whenever you need me.
Have a good one. Thanks, man.
Yes, see you, Jim.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. So we're at the 2 hour and 15-minute mark here on the live stream, and Chuck Fletcher still hasn't talked yet. So,
now, do I make this thumbnail?
it's up to you. I guess wait until after Fletcher talks, because they're saying he's going to talk at 4:20. So maybe you are safe, maybe you're not, but I don't know.
An hour and 20 minutes later.
Yeah, hour and 20 minutes later, he's still not talking. Man,
there you go, man. I mean, that's hockey for you, dude. It's nuts. It really is. I still can't believe the Flyers actually made trades. I didn't think they'd do anything. But it makes sense why they did, and I understand the things they got back.
Yeah. Man, it's I guess
we couldn't take schooling the Pens every year. Oh, that's funny.
Well, I think there was I think why Rutherford stepped down, because there was a rumor that he wanted to trade Letang, but the Penguins front office didn't want him because they wanted Letang to retire as a Penguin. So I think that was also influenced on why he left the Penguins. So, and also just from the fact he's also getting up there in age as well. So I guess like he won his 2 cups with Pittsburgh. I think he's done with the front office life in the NHL. So yeah, it's gonna be man. I guess you could say what a day.
What a day is right.
What a day.
Anthony Mantha, man. Wow.
You start the day with Flyers fans overreacting that Chuck Fletcher's not going to do anything. You get all the trades around the NHL. Lawton resigns his contract. Gustafson gets traded to Montreal. Raffle gets traded to Washington. And yeah, the Mantha last minute trade, like how many minutes after the deadline was that? Like at least 20, 25 minutes after the deadline?
For what?
For the Mantha trade. Like that was a good like.
That had been worked on like all day.
Yeah, that had to be.
They're just waiting for paperwork to be filed.
Yeah. Yeah, basically all that stuff is just paperwork that they have to wait. So who knows, like what you said, Chris, maybe Chuck Fletcher has more paperwork that was done and they're just waiting to announce the trade. I don't think the Flyers make another move. I think they're done for today. But
definitely.
Yeah. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what he says at his press conference. Do you want to keep going through his press conference, or you want to end it off? Because this is like the first ever like over 2 hour Flyer Up podcast episode. Stream whatever you want to be.
I don't know. I mean, we're having a good time. I think. I mean, I don't really know what he's going to say. It's not going to be crazy.
Yeah. Because I think we're at the point we're running out of things to say, and we're just waiting for Fletcher to talk. I think that's the point where we're at. And
we got
a good amount of donations today too.
Yeah, we got $83 today. That was amazing. Seriously, appreciate that. That's literally insane. Like I still cannot believe that even happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I'm running out of things to say. I just need Fletcher to talk.
Yeah.
That's all. I
finally made my thumbnail after 4 tries, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm listening to that. I got my sister texting me, why is Bane an idiot? Because she's watching the Harley Quinn series on HBO Max. So like that's at the point where we're getting to right now.
Yeah, I'm just flicking through Twitter and stuff, and I got a bunch of people.
Like we're 2 minutes away from Fletcher talking.
Yeah. Where can we find this?
I'm not even sure if the Flyers are doing anything. Maybe they're doing it. They're just showing it live on Twitter. Maybe they're not. Like I would like to show that on the podcast, but I'm not sure if we would have access to that or we got copyrighted. So I don't want to take that risk.
I think they usually show it. I mean, this is the one that's usually on TV. Like it's right. This is usually the one that's on NBC Philly, right?
It could be like I said, maybe they could live stream it to Twitter. That's a possibility. But like, I don't want to run that risk of getting copyrighted. But like, if it does pop up on Twitter, maybe we could take the crack at it. But
Raffle was just for a fifth, right? It wasn't.
Raffle was just for a fifth. There was no salary retention at all. Mm-hmm. It was Gustafson that was the salary retention.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you, Chuck Fletcher? Got Cryptic Cowboy saying Jamie Baskow introduced him to all of the Nitty Gritty Boys. Yeah, Jamie Baskow is a really good guy. Thank him for a lot of things, like with us getting our first games and stuff. So yeah. Larry says he's going to need a fifth after Chuck talks. What are you going to need? You're going to need a fifth Chuck there, a fifth shot there, Chuck, or Larry.
I thought Fletcher did a good job today.
Yeah,
I think he did what he had to do, and not that he needs my approval, but
I think for what it is today, like I said, I was only really expecting the minor moves to happen if it was Lawton or something like that, or Raffle or Gustafson, and basically all that stuff happened today. Lawton got re-signed, Raffle gets traded, and Gustafson gets traded. So the Flyers,
I didn't expect any roster players to go, but it makes sense.
Yeah, like and getting rid of Raffle, that just opens a spot maybe for a guy like a Wade Allison. Maybe he plays tomorrow. Well,
Lizinski definitely has a spot for the next handful of. Yeah. So what I'm kind of debating here is do I wait until after Chuck speaks to do my video, or do I do it after we do this? I think I'm gonna have to wait until Chuck speaks, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
So then you'll get the then you'll get like the summary of like his thought process now, I guess, from here going into the offseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Flyers haven't even tweeted the Gus or the Raffle trade. They did the Gus one 13 minutes ago.
Oh wow! And it's 4:21, and Chuck Fletcher still isn't talking. Oh my god! What is he doing?
He's doing something.
I mean, it's a possibility, but where is he? Come on, Chuck! Come on, Chuck! Basically calling it to him like a dog at this point. Man. I'm like consistently
passion for a fifth of Jack Daniels.
I miss all the trades that we were getting with the Dino Nuggets. Where did that conversation go?
The Dino Nuggets.
All the Dino Nugget trade rumors, how Dino Nuggets were like a top like tier prospect or generational talent. Yes, Cryptic Cowboy. We all missed. I think Fletcher missed 420. So, yeah, I have no idea what Fletcher was doing. Ben Simmons. I would, if it was Patrick or McDavid, I would definitely do that in a heartbeat. I think anyone would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah. And I think the Edmonton Oilers have to retain 100% of his salary. They have to. Bless you. Let's see. Let me switch it over to NBC Sports Philadelphia. Let's see if the Flyers actually have something going on. Okay, currently it's the Mike Missinelli Show. Paid programming on NBC Sports Philly Plus. So right now, Chuck is currently not talking still.
Can I find this on a trade or a stream? Not a trade.
I'm not sure. Here we go. Oh my God. Charlie O'Connor literally just tweeted this. Availability now pushed back to 4:30. Apologies to prepared for 4:20. God.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Chuck is never going to talk.
Maybe he's doing something.
That's the only thing I can think of. He's probably getting something done. Someone said he had to take a nap after a hard day's work. Yeah. 4:30 is now the time, so that's 7 minutes away, and we're currently almost 2.5 hours into this stream. So, yeah, I think I think this is what's going to happen. If Chuck Fletcher once again gets pushed back after 4:30, we will end the podcast then. But I don't want to wait until 5 o'clock for him to speak.
No, I don't want to be sitting here for 3 hours. That was not part of the plan today. We're supposed to be done in 6 minutes.
Yeah, and this is for people that usually listen to this on Apple and Spotify and stuff like that. I am not posting this to Apple and Spotify. I'm not posting a 3-hour podcast to that. No one's going to listen to that. The replay will be on YouTube and stuff like that here. Painted Lines, TTB Sports, Flyers Fan Mania 93. It's all going to be on YouTube if you don't want to watch it. So
well, what happens to our handful of Spotify listeners? They're screwed. They can't listen to the trade deadline frenzy. And Jim coming on as a nice guest.
I mean, I guess I could put it on there, but you're going to be in for a very long podcast that's unedited because I am not editing that.
I don't blame you for not editing that because in your luck, Premier would sit there and just take a nap.
Boy.
Sam just tweeted, maybe he's trying to trade all the writers to Minnesota.
He's trying to trade all of the writers. Oh, God. I'm trying to... Yep, 4:30, all that stuff. He's not speaking until 4:30, blah, 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 blah.
I can't believe the Tampa Bay Rays get American League Championship rings.
Yeah, the MLB has always done that. The Phillies got a National League Championship ring in 2009 when they won the pennant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess if you want to get on to another topic, Alec Boehm, safe or not? He wasn't safe.
He's safe.
He was not safe.
Safe.
I want to risk my computer freezing up on that, but people in the comment section, if you watched the Phillies game yesterday, what are your thoughts on Alec Boehm? Safe or not? Do you not care at this point? I don't care, but he was out by a mile, but he never touched home plate, but we got a question right here from Cryptic Cowboy saying that he's going to ask us questions since we are waiting. What made you both Flyers fans? Oh God.
I feel like I answer this question like
every podcast.
Yeah. Like I always get this question, but I love it. So one of my friends, when I was a kid, we were just bored one day and he was like, you want to watch the Flyers? Cause he's like a fan and everything. And, that's pretty much it. I mean, we sat down, watched the game. I loved it. Kept watching ever since. And I've been hooked for a long time and I don't think I'm going to get unhooked. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. My dad grew me up on Flyers hockey. So like that was like the main sport in my household. So that's why I'm a Flyers fan. My grandfather and uncle grew me up on baseball. So I'm more of I'm a Flyers fan first, baseball fan second, but then my friends put me onto basketball and football. So, and we got some of the Philadelphia media now saying that they're refusing to waive their no movement clause. Anthony Sanfilippo tweeting that. Then we got some comments talking about Alec Boehm, Zach Keenan saying he was out, Ben Simmons saying Boehm did not touch the plate. We got Larry Fine saying, I don't know, Boehm has big feet. Chris saying there's not enough evidence. Philly finally gets a break, safe.
I seriously cannot believe that the Flyers actually moved Gus. Like that is just so mind-boggling.
I am so surprised how Gustafson got moved. I'm telling you, it's the 50% salary retention that made the move go.
Uh-huh. Fletcher might still be working on something.
Oh, God. He comes into the press conference 3 minutes in. Okay, guys, I got a huge trade for you. Voracek is gone. JVR is gone. And we get 20 first-round picks in return.
We are acquiring
Connor McDavid. We're acquiring Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby for JVR. I don't know how this works, but JVR.
We traded Provorov for Rantanen. There you go.
Man. We got Renee in the chat saying he was a Flyers fan since 1982 at 16 years old. So, yeah, I feel bad for you, Renee.
That's insane.
Yeah. The cryptic cowboy saying the Wayne Stevenson goalie mask made him a Flyers fan. Yeah, that's a very nice mask. Larry Fine saying that seems like a fair trade, JVR and Voracek for Crosby and McDavid. Okay, hopefully we are a minute away from Chuck Fletcher's damn press conference. Can we please, Chuck, please just walk into the press conference room, speak your mind. Just do it. I'm losing my mind here. Seriously, if we go to 4:30 and he says, "Oh, it's pushed back once again," I'm like, Chuck, what are you doing? As Chris mutes his mic a little bit.
We're good. Sorry, my mother came in.
All good. Okay, Broad Street Hockey just said Chuck Fletcher would appear is finally about to speak.
We've only been waiting an hour and a half.
Now they officially posted about the Raffle trade, the Flyers.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, is there a live stream for Fletcher's press conference? Is anything there?
Better be.
We got Jacob saying, "Can we please trade Kevin Hayes?" Jacob, that's not happening. He has no movement clause. He's not moving anywhere. He's here for the foreseeable future. Yep, Raffle deal is now official. Flyers.
Maybe that's what they were waiting on. Maybe they were waiting on the call from the league.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because it took a little bit for the
Gus one.
The Gus one to go through. It took a little bit for Waffles to go through, so maybe that's why they pushed it back a little bit. Okay.
NBC Philly.
NBC Sport. Should I put this on the stream?
Yeah.
So we go. Okay, let me try finding it.
Trades involve players on expiring contracts. We were able to resign.
Sam, did you have a follow-up?
Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen.
On your wish list, is there anything else that you think this team needs to add? Just talking about the trades right now.
Well, we still have 15 games to play, and I realize we're 4 games out and lost a couple games in hand, but right now we're still
Can't hear it.
You can't hear it.
We'll sit down with our group, and we'll have a lot of time to go through.
I wonder. Yeah, and I'm trying to get the share for you boys. Just a little, because I can hear Chuck Fletcher in my damn ear. There.
That's from my phone.
Sure, we'll have a lot of ideas at the right time.
There we go.
I think it's a little premature to talk about that.
So do I.
Charlie O'Connor, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck.
Charlie.
You mentioned about waking up this morning and not knowing whether you guys are going to sign Scott Lawton or trade him. What drove the decision to sign him rather than trade him? Was the market not offering what you guys would have wanted to get back in a trade, or was it something else?
No, Scott Lawton, wanted to be a Flyer, and so essentially the deal got done. We started working on it prior to the season, and at that time we tabled talks until basically the last week, and both sides worked hard, and I give Scott credit, and we've had a lot of conversations the last few days, and we were able to come to agreement this morning. So that was the impetus for the deal. Certainly there was a lot of interest in Scott Lawton, but we value him highly, and we were happy with the deal and very happy with Scott. The versatility he brings, the energy, moves around your lineup. He contributes offense. He can kill penalties, and what I found out the last few days kind of confirmed our own opinion of Scott that he's a very valuable guy, and we're very happy to have him signed.
Jordan Hall, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Jordan.
Just wondering, with Sunday's game, just how much did that loss play a factor in your motives today? And if you had won that game, do you think you maybe would have thought about adding a piece or two?
Well, Yeah, maybe I don't know about yesterday, but maybe the last couple of weeks, if we had been able to gain a little bit more ground, then he certainly looked to maybe be more aggressive in terms of buying. Um, I guess I'm just looking at this a little bit longer term. We're certainly in the fight right now, and we're going to continue to fight. But we may need some assets here over the next few months to address some of the needs that we have going forward. And frankly, that may be a better use of some of those assets. So, this gives some of our other players an opportunity to play. Tanner Lazinski is on our active roster now for the rest of the season, so we'll give him a chance to play. And there's some other players either on our taxi squad or in Lehigh Valley that, in my opinion, deserve a chance to play and may be able to come up and provide us a spark and play well. So I think this is an opportunity for the group that's here to rally around each other and push hard to the end, and certainly an opportunity maybe for some players to continue to play in big roles. And with respect to a player like Eric Gustafson, clearly it didn't work. Eric wasn't playing, and I thought it was very important, not just from our perspective, but from Eric's perspective, to give him a chance to play. So by moving him to Montreal, hopefully we give him that opportunity to get a chance to get in the lineup and help his career along. And and part of the reason we can do that is the emergence of Sam Moran, the continued resurgence too of Shane Gostisbehere. Just kind of remarkable how well he's been playing, how he continues to grow, and we have other defensemen that maybe deserve a chance. So I think with Eric, it was more, we feel we have pretty good depth on D right now. I do certainly want to mention, Michael Raffle. Just can't thank him enough for his 8 years of service to this organization. A player that played very well for us for many years, moved around our lineup, played left wing, center, right wing, penalty kill, played hurt a lot this year. He's hurt right now. And, almost refused to be taken out of the lineup. And, hopefully Michael gets a chance to, have a big role on the Capitals, and it's a good opportunity for him. But, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Mike Raffle for everything he's done, for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Mike Sealski, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck. The last time you spoke to us in one of these settings, you mentioned that it was fair to say that the makeup of the group was not right. What did you mean by makeup? Are you talking about intangibles? Are you talking about a style of play, positions? What do you mean by makeup?
Well, duplication of roles for some of our players. I think I think our defense in particular probably isn't set up in an ideal way. And that's something we're going to have to look at. And I think as we go forward at the end of the year, we'll sit down with our group, and we have some pretty good ideas of things we want to do. But there's still some games to be played, and still some opportunities here for players to make an impression on us before the end of the season.
Anthony Sanfilippo, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck. Getting back to Scott Lawton real quick. Since you said there was so much interest, obviously, from around the league in Scott, was it a situation for you where you thought it would be better to sign him now rather than acquire another asset and then try to compete against X number of teams in the offseason to re-sign him as a free agent?
Yeah, those type of players are hard to get. And, Scott was drafted by the Flyers. We developed him. He loves being a Flyer. And at the end of the day, he made a commitment to us today to sign and stay with us. And, it's hard to get those players. And I think we have a couple other holes on our team. And the thought of creating an additional hole, to me, wasn't very appealing. He's part of the solution for us going forward. And we were able to lock him up to a contract that we feel works for us going forward, and obviously works for Scott.
Ed Barkowitz, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck. Can you just describe how unique this season, this trade deadline was for all the managers, whether it's, the COVID, the expansion, the shortened season, just how difficult or how different was it this season?
I think it's the trade deadline was somewhat similar for us. For example, Eric Gustafson being traded to Montreal now, they have to work on getting him up there, and he has to quarantine. And so certainly, I think the teams north of the border probably have more hoops they have to jump through than we do. Our situation is probably a little bit different depending on the mode of travel and how you bring a player in. But I think the pandemic certainly has had an impact. I think the flat cap continues to have a big impact on a lot of the conversations I'm having, and it should make for an interesting summer here as teams jockey and maneuver and try to build their roster for next year.
Joe Fordyce, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hi, Chuck. I had a question for you about when you see the other moves, but the teams you mentioned being 4 points back, the teams that are in front of you in the division, did you feel an extra onus to try to make a deal, or were the deals that you feel need to be made more suited for the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, the situation we put ourselves in, our reality, that's what led to our situation today. Again, the priority was really looking at Scott Lawton. If we subtracted him from our lineup, that would be a big hole, not just for this year, but going forward. So we felt it was important to address that situation. And, as we move forward here, obviously we'll have a lot of decisions to make in the off season. But the way I look at our group is, we have enough talent to win more games than what we've won and to play better than how we played. And there's certainly an opportunity for this group to finish strong and, again, leave a positive impression on all of us.
Steve Wino, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck, just how difficult was it to be a seller or just be making trades given the flat cap this year?
Yeah, we didn't really have a lot of players to sell. If you look at our pending UFAs, we made a decision on Scott Lawton. We moved Michael Raffle and Eric Gustafson, and Brian Elliott is a guy that we value highly right now and has done a good job for us. So, the majority of conversations I have with managers were about pending UFAs. There was some hockey talk. Some of that may be helpful going into the summer, but I didn't really feel a strong push from a lot of teams looking to make those kind of deals right now. And a lot of teams are still in the playoff race or trying to get back in, and that's the focus right now for most teams.
Wayne Fish, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Hi, Chuck.
Hey, Wayne.
A few weeks ago, you said that it's difficult to find a player that fits the Miskinen profile. I'm just wondering if you feel like there might be a better chance of something like that happening in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that's a profile we try to fill, but that type of player's pretty hard to find. But, there's different types of defensemen. There's puck-moving offensive defensemen. There's defensive defensemen. And there are, a few, I guess, that combine both. But, we'll just have to see what the opportunities are in the summer. And we'll also have to continue to see how some of our defensemen play here for the rest of the season.
We'll take a few more questions. Sam Carchidi, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chuck, by signing Scott Lawton today, I assume you're going to protect him in the expansion draft. Before this season started, did you look at him as a guy you would protect, or did you think that he had to show you a lot this year before you decided to do that?
No, he was a guy that I think Scott continues to evolve and improve. And obviously last year he had a particularly strong season. So he's always been in our plans for the future, assuming we could re-sign him. So that hasn't really changed any of our plans. Just the good news we got today is we're able to bring him back.
Charlie O'Connor, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Chuck, going into the season, I think there was an expectation, on the part of the fans, and I suspect within the organization too, that you guys would be in a position to be buyers at the deadline. Obviously, that's not how it played out. But does that fact add to the pressure to make this an especially active offseason? And I guess should fans that are frustrated with how the season has gone so far, should they expect that?
Well, we're certainly have much higher expectations than for our club than how we played this year. So, my goal in the off season is to make this team the best we can make it. And we fully expect to be a quality hockey team next year that, again, is in a much different position this time next year.
We'll take two more questions. Mike Sealski, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chuck, and getting that mix right that you talked about in the offseason, will you consider changes to the coaching staff as well?
No.
We'll do one more question. Anthony Sanfilippo, you're on with Chuck. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chuck, you touched on this briefly on an earlier question, but obviously there weren't very many hockey trades made here at the deadline. But do you feel as if there was some good groundwork that was laid for you to kind of think about as you move forward into the offseason?
I hope so. Certainly over the last, even going back to last offseason, I've had numerous conversations with essentially every general manager. I can't say there's a few teams in our division that we're not talking trade every day, but with most of the teams in this league, I've had numerous conversations, and I think I have a pretty good feel for where they're at and what they're looking to do. And so that work continues all year long. And again, I think there's a lot of teams, looking to make changes this summer. And at that time, we'll certainly be in a position to know what teams are looking at.
Okay, Chuck, thank you very much for your time.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, everyone, that concludes Flyers media availability for today. Be on the
Okay, so that was Chuck Fletcher and his press conference. A lot of interesting things to point out there. And yes, technically, Chris, your mic's still muted. And of course they're going to mention technically, yes, they're still in playoff contention. Yes, mathematically they're still in playoff contention. So they weren't going to make gigantic moves at this trade deadline. They'd be
in a different spot if they play better. That's what it boils down to.
Yes, so the moves, we all know. This team knows what they have to fix. They know what they have to do. The moves are going to happen in the offseason. And Fletcher knows this. The front office knows this. They know the problems with this team, and they know what they need to fix. But right now, they're just, I guess, at this point, take it day by day, see how the team goes throughout the season. You make the playoffs, you make the playoffs, you miss the playoffs, you miss the playoffs at this point. But
pretty blunt no there on the coaching changes.
Yeah, pretty blunt no. Yeah. So definitely next year expect the same exact coaching staff. So I kind of hope that they kind of take Terrian off the power play and make him focus more on defense, because that's the type of coach that he is. But that
doesn't look like that's happening.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's happening. But yeah, there's just basically with Scott Lawton coming back, that definitely affects their expansion draft. So that most likely that would mean he's going to protect Lawton in the expansion draft, which was obvious. So yeah, like we've been saying, offseason is the biggest key right now with this team to make those moves. So Chris, what are your overall thoughts from Chuck's press conference before we end it off?
I think overall, I thought today was a good day. I thought he made the right moves he had to make. I think if the team played better in recent weeks, they probably would have done something different. And obviously, the season was a different mindset right now. Would have been what we all would have been thinking, but it is what it is. And as I said, you got to roll with the punches. And I think what they're doing right now is the best thing for them. And I think him admitting that things didn't work is good, and he knows that. And coming flat out and saying Gustafson didn't work and giving him a chance to play, I think is, good. And, they get a pick out of it. And, Raffle, with I can't even speak, that is now updated. Flyers retain 25% of $400,000. And in total, that's 1.9 for both players. And that'll be 1.9 added back after this year, as they're both UFAs after this year. So going to have to see what happens in the coming months of the season. I think the Flyers are just really going to play out the last handful of games here. They're still in the playoffs, or still fighting for the playoffs, I should say. And we're going to have to just take it game by game and see what happens. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so I think this is finally going to be the end of this live stream for the NHL trade deadline here at the Flyer Up Podcast. We're almost at the 3-hour mark, pushing in like 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So we're going to end it off right here. So everyone, thank you for taking the time out of your day to stick with us for the trade deadline. Thank you to Jim from H&W Radio. Definitely going to have him on in the future. Definitely going to collab more. Definitely just going to do even more there. So just overall great show today. Interesting stuff. A lot of moves happened. Flyers made their moves, and now we got to focus on the offseason for this team. They're going to try to finish off the season. Who knows what's going to happen, but we're going to be here every day. So everyone, thank you for joining, and thank you to the people who donated today. That's just a huge thank you to that. We really appreciate it right there. That means so much to everyone. And just like what we said, everyone, just thank you for joining for this long, almost 3-hour stream. So for this edition of the Fired Up Podcast, this might go up on Apple, Spotify. I'm going to make sure it might be a little too long to edit, but it's going to remain here on YouTube for the foreseeable future. So like I said, everyone, thank you for joining. Thank you for the guys that donated. That means a lot to us. So for everyone here, don't forget to check out our Twitter pages, _Chris Maher for Chris, Amedeo Grassia 98 for me, TTB Sports for me on YouTube, Flyers Fan 93 for Chris on YouTube. And follow the Painted Lines everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, just everywhere. Painted Lines. And like I said, thank you everyone for joining. And yes, go Flyers, Larry. Go Flyers. And like I said, wait till the offseason, everyone. So thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll be back at another time. Thank you for joining, and see you later.